It's that time again. It is that time again. That time of the week. It is Saturday, so that means it's podcast day. We're getting ready to do a thing. I got a great guest here today. Let's get ready to switch that scene. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast where we get a chance to chat with another streamer and just talk gaming and everything. Today, I got xDargosx there. He's joining us all the way from Canada. What's going on, man?
Not much. This is it, man. Make some time to chill and support with some streams here.
It would do a thing. So it's been becoming like a weekly thing that I kind of started off with one main question, and that question's been, what's the first game you fell in love with and like made you be like, oh yeah, I'm a gamer. That's it. Like this is it.
I'm gonna have to go with James Bond GoldenEye.
Ooh,
So the
N64.
Nintendo 64, yep.
That was a great game.
It was like the first transition, like 3D game I had, because I had the Super Nintendo and everything, and got into the N64, and that game was awesome, man.
It was
Played it
world
four
changing.
player with friends. Like that was the first 4-player system. It was awesome, man.
Did you did you do the thing where like you'd have to like call up friends like, all right, whose house are we going to play it? Like who's got it right now? Like,
All my other friends are broke ass. They all came to my place.
oh wow, you were lucky. You didn't even have to
I
get
was
up.
I was lucky. I was lucky for sure. Yeah. I know I got it for Christmas one morning and I was so stoked as a kid. It was like the best thing that could ever happen.
Mm. Yeah, that game was so cool. It was game changing at that time. I mean, you think of the Super Nintendo, what we really have like definitely didn't have anything with like GoldenEye where you had like multi-leveled floors and you know the vents you
Yep.
can go through with little
Yep.
tunnels, hidden stuff, Easter eggs, different modes too. You
Oh man,
know.
it was such an iconic game, dude. I even bought a copy. I have a copy here that like I had to replace it because I sold my Nintendo 64 years ago thinking bigger and better systems, right? But I ended up buying another one just because it was so good. It's like
Wow.
one of my favorite games for sure still.
Have they re-released that game like since
I
then?
I don't think so. Not GoldenEye. I mean, there's been a
Oh.
lot of James Bond games throughout all the systems and
Oh
genres
yeah.
and everything, but all the movies and everything that's been coming out, right?
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
true.
that game got me good, man. Because you get 4 guys sitting around playing, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and pull up some footage here for people watching there. It even had a storyline.
It did have a storyline. It did have a storyline, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it followed the movie. I think they based it off of the movie Goldeneye, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
I
even
got
got
some
Pierce Brosnan
footage here.
on the box. So
That is very true. I kind of always forget that it was the Pierce Brosnan Bond. Like it wasn't
yeah,
like the others. Like
yeah,
it was possibly what's usually looked at as like one of the worst ones. But I didn't think he
yeah.
was bad.
I didn't think he was bad either, but I really liked the first person mode of it. Like it was like,
Mm-hmm.
one of the first great first person shooter games that there was. And I'm horrible at first person shooter games now for some reason, but must be the age, I guess. I'm old now.
They've
So
definitely gotten harder over the years.
definitely. And I tried playing this game recently, man. It is so hard because you're so used to the new controls with the analog sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Using that old school, like 8-dimensional analog stick is pretty brutal.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Like
mean,
I had,
these games you're like strafe shooting most of the time. You
yes, yeah,
know, it's
you are.
now it's like you've got to deal with up, down,
Yeah.
diagonal. What these
And you know what?
graphics?
I actually had to change my settings so I could do that with like the C buttons and the analog stick to try to replicate, what it is now, right? And even still, it's hard, man.
Oh, it's impossible. It's
Oh,
impossible.
I
I
don't even
just.
know how I got that far in this game when I was a kid because right now I tried it a while ago and I'm horrible at
Mm-hmm.
it. Like just dying all left, right, and center.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I
fun
mean, just
game.
looking at these graphics though,
It
like
was,
seeing the walls and
yeah,
stuff, and
yeah,
there's some outside scenes. Like, look at this. There's like trees,
yeah.
but like you could see it's still a tunnel. Like, there's only so far you
Oh
can
man,
go left and right.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
But it was so good though, man. It was for its time. It was like one of the greatest first-person shooter games there was. I don't know. That's
Mm-hmm.
my opinion of it all, anyway.
Oh no, I agree. I agree. It really I can't think of any other first person game at that time that was kind of out to compete with it. You
The
know?
only other one I can think of, and it was still for the Nintendo 64, was Turok,
Oh, yeah.
the dragon one, or dinosaur one.
Yeah.
But this game was still the prime. It was so prime when it first came out. It was huge. Yeah.
I'm trying to Google like GoldenEye competitor. Mm.
Like pro play.
No, like what games were out like at the same
Oh,
time.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not seeing anything. Let me look up Turok. I remember Turok.
I don't know. You don't remember Turok?
No, I remember Turok. I
Oh
remember
yes. Okay.
that.
I like the first one because it was new and exciting, and when they started making a bunch of other ones, it lost its luster for me.
A lot of games, it seems, with like especially first-person shooters, kind of go through that kind of situation where they do kind of
For
do
sure.
that. You know, let's
Yeah.
see. Oh, they got
I mean, I don't
Turok
know,
Dinosaur Hunter here.
there's a lot of games that really got me deep into gaming though, because and different styles of games too, right? Not just the one style.
Hmm.
Because I got really big into the Metal Gear Solid line too. That was a really fun game
That was a great game.
for the
Yeah,
PlayStation 1. It was so good, man.
yeah. Golly,
And
all
the
right.
first time
I got some
doing
Turok up here. Though.
oh
This
nice.
is
Yes, yes. Yeah.
golly. It's the
Oh
same
man.
thing. Like, like when I'm thinking about games of this time, though, like it was very like a lot of game companies these days are always talking about like linear this, linear that, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that like people from our generation, our age group,
Hmm.
we're
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
used to kind of that linear, like
Yes.
yeah, it's a
No,
little bit open world, like we could see. This one's definitely a little more open world than James
yes.
Bond was.
It is. It
But
was.
like
Yeah.
you accepted it for a storyline. Oh wow,
Yeah.
look, it just showed the map here. It just showed the map. It's legit just a hallway. That's all it is. Like
Yeah.
that
I'm not surprised.
that is a hallway right there.
But these were such good games back then.
Oh yeah, this was like groundbreaking back then.
Yeah.
Like
It was.
we were
It
like,
was.
this is the greatest hallway I've ever seen. I will play this hallway every day.
But I think the first big open world game that I liked was probably Zelda for the 64.
Mm-hmm. That one was
The
pretty
Ocarina
good.
of Time.
That was pretty
Yeah,
good. I think though
yeah,
what happened with these games, I think what helped it a lot was in our time of gaming. Like I'm not trying to talk down to people of this time, but in our time of gaming, it was
yeah,
more about playing with your friends. So like, yeah, the storyline part wasn't as open and gigantic, but you'd
yeah,
have your friends over. It was like who could beat whom, and how good they were, and then that all led to Halo. Because
yeah,
that was like the next step. I feel was like it took these smaller versions and was like, oh, we've got something for you. Check out Blood Gulch. Get
yeah.
ready, and that became like the thing. But like, yeah, I think it's not that it's bad. Like, what do you feel about it? You think that nowadays kids are missing out though on the fact of kind of playing in person and compared to online?
I'm not sure what I would prefer, really. I mean, I think they both have different things to them. Like you have people over and you sit around, you talk, and you play games in between and everything, right? But when it comes to online, you can just sit down and find friends to game with, right? Like
Mm.
I could game with you on the opposite side of the world, so it opens up a lot of more friends you could have. Obviously, a lot of trolls on the internet too,
Yeah,
right?
there's quite a few
But
of those.
but at the same time, I used to get pissed off at my friends if they camp me in GoldenEye. Get the hell out of here! Kill
Oh
somebody
yeah,
else.
I remember my
So
brother's friend Pete. There's like we would like my brother and his friends. They would always come over. He's 7 years older than me, so like his friends, like they were like the grown ups. Like I couldn't have friends over. I was too young, you know. So like they
yeah,
would be coming over and stuff. And like one night, I think it was like an MLB game, but like before like EA was making games. It was like one of the older ones. And
Mhm.
this guy Pete, he couldn't win no matter what he did. And it ended up with him grabbing my brother and putting him into like a fake sleeper hold, like like pretend wrestling stuff, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
fights would happen. I mean, he bought it was a boxing game. I think it
Oh,
was
yeah.
Let's Get Ready
Oh,
to
yeah.
Rumble. I think that
Okay.
was it. It was on PlayStation. He bought it, brought it over, was really happy. He had played it for a few days.
Mhm.
He thought he was ready. I never played it
Yeah.
before, never saw it before. Legit beat him 29 times in a row. He just got up, left the
Right.
game, never asked for it back. Like one time I asked him, "Do you want your game back?" He's like, "Nope, never mention
No,
it again." Like he
that's
thought
funny.
he was ready. But like like if you think about it, like those are scenarios. Like I'm sure, like what was the craziest thing that happened between you and your friends when they'd come over to play like GoldenEye and stuff?
Oh man, we used to get so mad with each other at certain times, depending on what it was, right? There was one guy who was not good at the aimings part of the game, and me and my other buddy that were, right?
Mm.
So we couldn't play normals because me and him could always get the headshots and pick up the armor and rejuvenate health. He could never kill us, right?
Yeah.
So we had to play license to kill, which is the one shot kill, right? But
Mm.
even then, our quick shots would just make him so mad, and he'd end up tilting and walking out, or one of us would get mad at the other guy. There's still tilt, even with your friends, not just online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
But
just gotta
you mentioned an
play for fun.
interesting thing there, though. That there's still tilt even with your friends, but you guys
Yeah,
tried to even it up. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
it's
Oh
like
well, of course. Yeah,
nowadays people complain like, "Oh, I keep getting into these matches and I just keep getting beat." Like the
yeah,
stupid matchmaking system. You know, where you don't have the choice to even it up. Really.
yes, yeah. I
It's
got you.
it's
And
interesting.
I feel that pretty hard being a League of Legends player
Oh yeah.
because especially this season, this like it feels like the matchmaking is bad, but whatever. You play the game because you like the game, right? No
Yeah.
matter who you're facing, so whatever. I mean, you're gonna lose, you're gonna win. Play the games. Good to go.
Those I played League.
No, that's stressful.
Yeah, I got yelled at a lot. When I first got into the game, I didn't know what I was doing. I'd be playing Sona, and I'd be going like left lane with Sona, and people like, "What are you doing?
Oh
She's
well.
she's like support healer. Like you gotta be over in the right lane or this lane or what." I think she
Yeah.
was supposed to be in right lane at that time. I
Yeah, it's
don't.
usually top, mid, bottom is how it goes.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know. I was
Yeah,
going
well,
mid lane with her, and I was rocking. I was holding off my dude. You
yeah, for
know,
sure.
like
Like
I
that's
was.
the way it works.
Give me Sona. I was rocking. Then I started getting to Vigar, and then people would make me go bottom lane or right lane with him, and I was like, "Look, I'll go any lane. I'll hold them. They're not getting past my tower."
He,
I
he's
would
actually
piss off
pretty
people.
viable in any lane too. Actually.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Yep. The
I
way his abilities stack, I mean, you can build full tank and still have lots of magic power
really.
if you farm properly. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I didn't know they made him that open. He was I liked him. I liked him a lot. He was fun. For me it was Sona and Vigar. That was it.
Yeah, those two are both really good champs in the game right now. So
Wow. So I could
yeah,
go
they're
back to
still out.
playing League of Legends then.
Yeah,
And
probably,
I'll rock and
probably,
roll.
because I mean, they haven't changed much about Veigar, not that I know about.
Hmm.
Sona, I mean, she's always been all auras and stuff, so she
Yeah.
hasn't changed much either, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I
So
liked I was like, "Ooh, she's like a bard almost,"
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're like playing the music and stuff. I was like, "That's interesting." And I was just coming off of I think it was coming off of WildStar at that time.
yeah,
And I was playing healer in WildStar, so when I came to League of Legends, I was like, "Oh, I want to heal." Like,
yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
used to healing, and even before that, I was playing Star Wars: The Old Republic as a healer. So I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
give
yeah,
me a healer." I saw Sona, I was like, "Oh, she's like a bard. I'm into Dungeons and Dragons, so give me a bard. Yes, let's go." Sounds hilarious to me. Play music,
yeah.
do a thing, But yeah, that you get told off in that chat, like.
Oh man, all the time. The best tip you can do for anybody who's trying to learn the game half the time is slash mute all.
I didn't even know that was an option. See, I wish I knew that tip
That's
back
an
in the day.
option, man, and pings too, because some people are so toxic. It's
Oh yeah,
brutal.
with the
You don't
map, yeah.
always want to, because if you want to learn, you're gonna have to learn from other players that know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Usually, if they're bitching at you, it's 40% of the time for a reason, 60% of the time because they're being a douchebag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you pick and choose what you think was the proper thing. Maybe he did have a better idea, right? I mean, you can't be high on yourself that you don't make any mistakes because everybody's going to make a mistake in game
Oh yeah.
doing anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like pick and choose what the good advice is, and if they have bad advice, slash mute all, so
I
you don't kill
really wish
yourself.
I knew
And
that.
just like as a jungler, especially, it's a big tip because you
Oh yeah.
everybody's wanting you to save them, and that's not your job.
Yeah, you're just the opportunity killer. You know,
Yes,
when you're
kind of.
juggling.
Depending on which jungler. If you're playing a support jungler, it's different,
Mm-hmm.
right? Depending, are you a counter farm jungler? There's many different ways to play a single role, right? So,
Yeah. That's what I used to argue with people. That I was like, look,
it
when
is.
I was playing Smite, I mean, I was a platinum ranked player in Smite, and I would tell people like, look, I have some experience with this, and in Smite it had the curse voice, so it would get you in the voice call with like all the random people, you
Yeah,
know,
that's.
with the auto grouping. That was a lot of
I would.
fun. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to deal with that in League though, for how toxic
Oh yeah,
everybody is.
I don't think League could do it. I really
They
don't.
did change it. They do have their own voice call now
Really.
for pre-made groups.
Okay.
So people that you invite into a party, then you can,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah. That.
that's actually pretty useful because I mean I used to always use Discord, and if I'm not streaming or even if I am streaming, I don't really use Discord as much anymore because
Mhm.
I'm just using the League in game chat. When I mean
Oh,
I'm
it
only talking
helps.
to the guy I'm in a group with, right? So
And it also helps that you don't have to, like, let's say you get into a group with someone, they seem cool the first match, you
mhm.
get them in your Discord, and then they
Yeah,
don't seem cool
yeah,
anymore, you know?
exactly, right. You got to be kicking people, but then it's just like you leave the party and the mic goes off, right? That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Then you have to vamp for, like, 2 minutes while the queue goes. And now you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
plan out, like, who are you going to pick, what should we do this time? Like, but that makes sense, though, in League. One thing I've
It is
always
useful.
liked about League was that they had the thumbs up and thumbs down system, though. Like, that, like, where you can, like, rank someone, like, they play with, like, you give them a thumbs up, they were
Oh,
helpful,
yeah.
or, like, they were
Or
toxic.
report.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Report's the biggest one you're going to use, probably.
oh yeah. Well, I
The
actually
honor
used to use
system.
the thumbs up more. Like even if someone didn't talk but they played okay, like I always tried to make sure cuz I always felt like nervous like people probably don't get enough thumbs up even to be
Yeah,
mediocre players,
yeah.
and I think mediocrity is just that's still a thumbs up to me.
It is. It
you
is.
know.
If you can play consistently, it's better than win a
Yeah.
bunch, lose a bunch.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Even if we
really is.
lost,
In
but
league.
the person was sitting there doing a thing. They weren't sitting there
Yeah.
complaining. I tried
Yes.
to keep like the thumbs down for like the people that were like, "You didn't rotate at 224. You
Yeah.
needed to
Exactly.
rotate." Meh. I'm like,
Yeah.
"All
No. No.
right." I
People
always
who
like,
complain about something
yeah,
that happened aren't players that playing to win. Really, if
yeah,
you're too focused on what happened and not what's gonna happen, then you're probably not gonna climb as well as someone who just it's like, well, it happened. What are you gonna do about it now?
yeah,
Right?
yeah. They're sitting there
Don't
writing a
get sentimental
novel.
about it. You got to deal with it now because it happened. It's not, you can't take it back.
Well, they'll
Right?
write the whole novel of how much you suck, and
Yeah.
I always say like, you apparently know something that person doesn't. Why don't you take it better tact? Say, hey,
Yeah.
what? Next time you play a match, give it a try, see how it works out. If it starts working out better, that person's now going to do it every time. Now you have
Mhm.
one more person that's going to do that every time. You have a higher chance that the next time you play a match, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah. That's right.
Like,
Yeah. Well, the more people that learn how to play properly, the harder and funner and better it's going to be. Right?
oh yeah. I mean, most of the hundreds of thousands, even millions of people that probably play that don't have time to go watch a pro
Yeah.
streamer or read a post online. They just get home from work, pop
Yeah.
on the computer and play.
Play some game. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play an
Exactly.
hour or two. But
Yeah.
I can understand too, like the other people who are taking it more seriously. But that's what I feel
Yeah.
ranked queues are for.
For
You
sure.
know,
For sure.
I
Yeah.
can
That's
understand
one
this
thing.
the frustration in ranked. You know?
That's one thing I've been working on is just playing normals as a shits and giggles game,
Yeah.
right? Go in and play whatever lane, whatever you want to play. And, if you want to try to counter pick this game, then go ahead. If you don't want to worry about pick and ban phase, just pick what you want to play, ban whatever, and just play a game, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to the ranked, I mean, there's people who just play ranked like normals, right? They just troll stuff and everything else. I mean, ranked is kind of hard to play. I feel like the flex rank should mean more because it's a team game and it's team ranked, right?
Mm-hmm.
But right now, flex ranked is just whatever. Everybody plays that. Like, it doesn't even matter. And solo queue is what matters. So you're solo queuing for a team game for ranked. It seems odd to me, right? Like,
Yeah.
it should be the other way around, but it's not because there's so many people who want to play a solo game. And if you're dealing with people who are playing by themselves in a game like League, it's difficult because it's not a solo game.
It's really not. How does
Not
the
anymore, especially. It's gotten worse for that. Like they're trying to make it revolve more around a team than it is a single person for sure.
Wow. How does the
Yeah.
numbers work in ranked in that game? Like, let's say you're playing a tank character. Do you, does it do like, well, any character, does it do like you get a win, you get like 12 points towards your rank, and then you get a loss, you get like 20 points lost from your rank? Or.
It's the other way. If you get a win, like mine right now, my whatever it is, the mathematical formula for deciding that, I'm getting about, I think it's 18 to 20 LP up when I win a game.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lose a game, you go down about 11.
Oh, that's
So it's about
nice.
half of what you go up. Like if you win 50% of your games, I think the math works out to like 45%.
Yeah.
If you win 45% of your games, you're climbing.
Okay.
But you're gonna take win streaks and loss streaks and
That's
demotions.
that's really good. But
Yeah.
is that do you play tank characters though?
I don't play a lot of tank characters, no.
Because I wonder if the numbers is different for tanks since they don't get like many kills. You know,
Uh,
they might
Not
die more.
really, because it's judged a lot more on map play and like what happened in the game.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
really?
It's not just based on kills and assists anymore.
Oh, that's good.
Right? If you get a ton of kills and you have really crappy farm, you don't get a good grade,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or
That's
no
good.
vision, or no vision with awards and stuff, you're not getting a good grade as a support or
Oh,
as
wow.
anybody, as a jungler, nobody, right? Like everything is kind of taken in fight participation. If a support is always there for the fight, it's huge for him, right?
Yeah,
Fight breaks out and he's there, then
that's
you know,
awesome.
yeah, they
That
try
should be talked about publicly more often then, because
they try
that's
to
the only
expand
time
it.
I've heard about that. Like, that it's not just because like I'm a smite player. The ranked in that is pretty much just on how many kills did you get that match. you
Oh,
know
really? So it is kind of solo play.
oh yeah, absolutely solo play. Did you get like
Nice.
if you were a tank in that, which why it made it so hard. So like you'd queue in, to the ranked mode, and then it would
Yeah,
list the people in order of pick order for the characters by
yeah,
their like secret ranking number, their MMR. So if you had the lowest MMR, you had a pick last, you would always have to play the tank. Either the
yeah.
tank or like, the support, other like secondary support or whatnot. So
Mhm.
because no one wanted to play the tanks because you're not going to be getting a ton of kills, you know. And if you get a loss, since you didn't get a lot of kills and you died more, you lose like double the points of the damage dealers. You
Oh, I
know,
see.
so, like, as a tank, you'd lose like 20 points towards your ranking, and for a win, you only get like 8 points towards your ranking. So,
Oh,
you'd
that
have
sounds
to
rough.
now get like 3 wins from 1 loss. You
That
know,
sounds rough, dude.
it was so rough. Like,
I
the
can't see how
grind.
that's even fair,
Yeah,
but
even damage dealers too though. As damage dealer you can get up to like 18-ish, 20-ish, depending if
yeah,
the enemy team had like a really high ranking compared to you. But
yeah,
if you lose, then you'd lose like 12. You wouldn't lose more than you would gain though as damage dealer. So it was
yeah.
like, oh, it was so like I was so burned out from that. So hearing like League, doing it in a way that's like And did you put wards down? No one
They're
would ever
actually
buy wards, and they help out so much, you know?
they're actually changing it a lot. Next season, they have planned to put in a ranked queue where it's like right now you could get auto filled into a role you don't know well,
Yeah,
and you're still playing against the same rank of people, right? Like
yeah,
your rank doesn't change because of the role, but they are instituting that.
that's
So
good.
if you like me, I'm a jungle main. My
Hmm.
rank for jungle would be half decent, right? Now,
Yeah.
if I was to play an ADC or got filled into a different role, my rank in that role is completely different.
Hmm.
So I'm not up to the same level of players, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, now
That's
you're
playing.
having a
That's
verse
playing jungle,
like you're having a verse like a
right?
trained,
Yes.
ADC
Yeah.
as an ADC, and you don't really play them, and then you're sitting there getting tanked on, and
Oh
just
yeah.
and then your
It's
teammates are
happened to me
like,
a
"Why
lot.
do you suck so bad?" And then you're forced to be like, "Look, guys, like I got forced into this thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when I'd get stuck tanking, I wasn't really a tank, and I would tell them like, look, guys." I understand I'm the last to pick. I understand you don't want it, but like I really don't tank. And then they would come back with like, well, you should practice tank if you want to be in ranked. Like you should know
Yeah.
all the roles. And I was like, well, I don't. So do you want to waste like an hour of this conquest match
Yeah.
to, with a bad tank, or do one of you guys know how to do it? Because you were able to switch, even
Yeah.
though I would pick less, you were
Yeah.
able to switch, you know.
Yeah.
It was so like here League doing things like that like goes right back to our N64 days where it's like the most important thing back in the day was we got so used to playing together with people. How can we,
Mm-hmm.
yes, fights would happen from time to time. People would get
Oh, all
tilted.
the time.
But we got
All the time.
used to like you'd come up with like little rules like, the breather break or something, like all right, so and so like that one friend like all right, he lost 4 matches in a row really bad. Let's go get let's get a drink, let's get a snack.
Yeah.
He needs
Let's
his
let's let them
breather.
win one because
Yeah. You
nothing is recorded anyway. Not back then. It was all like there was no how many wins and losses unless you kept count yourself, which we did because we're
Mhm.
competitive.
Oh, of course. But you'd lock
Yeah,
eyes
you
with
know,
your friend like, "Yo, this is we let's lose this one."
yeah.
You make
Like,
that like
let's
pact
lose this.
like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh man."
Give them a
And
few kills at least. Even if we don't let them win, let's make it let them like get close.
oh
Right.
yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, it had to be done though. But like here,
Yeah.
like I think that's one thing most multiplayer games these days fail on. Like I've been mentioning in the other podcasts, like even on the stream, I mention as often as I can. Like I think a lot of multiplayer games fail on the fact that they don't make the interpersonal side of things
Mm.
reasonable. They're not
Yeah.
thinking of that.
Hmm.
When you make a rank system beyond how many kills you got, you're really not taking into account the way people will deal with each other on that, then
Well, that's
the pick order.
a reason they had to change that is because nobody wanted to play a support role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, they got the least gold in the game. They were pretty much irrelevant
Yeah.
until like you start an engage. That's your only thing you can do is get one engage, and after that, you're useless, type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's I don't know. They changed a lot of it so to help everybody feel relevant in a match, right?
No.
And I mean, now it's even to the point where supports are playing mages like Brand and carrying games.
Oh wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of change to it for
That's
sure.
really interesting. That's gonna be that's good. League of Legends, like I was saying, even from back in the day, had the thumbs up, thumbs down. They've done
Yeah.
a lot, and I think that they don't get enough praise for that. They really
Well,
don't.
I don't think so either because they have the most toxic community on their forums and stuff. Always
Yeah.
something to complain about, and they give out a lot and give a lot of effort to their game and updating things and everything else. But as soon as they put an update out, it's like, well, how come you didn't fix this first? How come you didn't change that first?
Yeah.
Right? How come this is we don't get a new skin for this when you're putting out skins for this? It's like, man, just relax. I put out a skin for this at least. At least I did something, right?
Yeah. It's hard to please, all the gamers.
Everybody, yeah, it's crazy.
You
Because
know.
I mean,
How old
I
is
love
that
Elise, the
game?
spider chick, right? And she's not really good right now, so I had to learn to play other stuff. But is what it is.
I'm checking the League of Legends release date. Pretty
Oh man,
curious.
I think it was
Oh
2000
wow.
something.
October 27th, 2009.
Yeah,
Wow. Dota 2 came out in 2013, so League of Legends was out for years without like real competition.
Well, they had Dota still, right?
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't think did anyone really know about Dota.
Not really, I don't think. I'm not sure. I've never played either one of them, to tell you the truth. I found League of Legends first, right?
Oh
Is what
yeah, I
happened to
see.
me. So I just
Dota
went,
was 2003, yeah, so they were out for 6 years before League.
yeah,
Mm,
with the MOBA style, right?
yeah.
I think that kind of stemmed from, was it Red Faction was the one where you build your army and you scope out the maps and stuff, like that type of game? And,
I don't know. I was playing World of Warcraft at that time, so
okay, yeah.
it was like 2004. I was like, oh wow. And I think I was playing Call of Duty also. I wasn't really a
Yeah.
PC gamer until WoW. I was
Yeah,
more so into
I really,
shooters.
what would be the first thing that got me into PC gaming?
That's a good question.
I would, I don't even know, man. Oh, yes, I do. A game called Nexus, The Kingdom of the Winds. It was like a 2D style game from Korea. It was so good, though.
I gotta look this up. I've never heard of
Oh,
that.
oh man, it's a really community role play based game, right?
Hmm.
Like the kingdoms in the community are run by players,
Oh wow.
and they talk with the GMs of the game and like figure out stories and different plans that happen. And all the clans are run by players, and the subpaths are run by players. And they
Hmm.
actually got to request spells from people, like from the higher ups. Like, can you guys put the spell in the game for us? And then
Wow.
then they will if you donate so much effort and time into making the community good for the other players or stuff like that, right? It's crazy hosting like community events where a person is actually there saying the rules of a game they made up,
It kind of
right?
looks like RuneScape.
It's I don't know if it's like RuneScape. I never really played that much. This is like the very beginning tutorial area,
Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to pull
right?
up some
That
other
first clip
places.
that I see there. I mean, I'm a little delayed from what I see on your there, but yeah, that's as far as I can tell. That's the beginning area. But yeah, it was a really good game back then. It's lost all of its population now, so it's really not as good with a huge population.
Hmm.
There was time. You see how the map is like this on a bridge like this? Like I don't know. I'm late in the clip, but like a certain bridge like that, there'd be so many people you couldn't get through that bridge,
Oh wow. So people would
right?
block your path.
Yes, and
Wow.
it's like yeah, it was crazy. They had to change a lot of things with trolls in it and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine like a guild
Oh,
would
it was a
just
lot of
block.
issues like that. Yeah, yeah, but it was a really fun game. It's really good. There's
Does
a lot
look
of
cool.
PvP in it. A lot of PvP in it. It was like carnages and stuff. They called them big tournaments where you get like 50 versus 50 in a room.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's four paths, right? The rogue, warrior, poet, mage.
Let's see. I'll try and look up PvP. Uh, Crusades. Would that be?
Yeah, that could be one too. Yeah, I think that's the one without prizes, but it's the same style. Still PvP. That's the one for fun without the prizes and stuff, right? Because you get prizes from the people if you win, obviously, just like anything. Big tournaments and stuff, man. It was crazy. Like, yeah, it was a really good game. It was the first really good immersive role playing game that I've gotten into, right?
Wow. Yeah. I like the graphics. I mean, for me, like as an old
It wasn't bad.
schooler, I would have had a blast
It was,
with this. Was it
yeah.
free?
No.
Hmm.
It was $15 a month.
Oh wow.
Subscription, right? Just like WoW and stuff and everything else back then.
Yeah, I could see why it probably lost then, because this is showing
It
like
did.
2015 here.
Hmm.
So 2015 WoW was out with its
Yeah.
vanilla and you know
Yeah.
third person view, controlling
Yeah.
fully
I
3D.
mean, that's where they lost all their viewer bases. All these MMOs coming out for free, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, then you had those starting to come out
then you
later.
had then you had way better ones like WoW. I mean, sure, it was still a monthly subscription, but you got a hell of a lot more out of the game with the graphics and
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? The gameplay with different spells and like crazy, like, well, can't say much because this game has a crazy amount of spells in it, to tell you the truth. But yeah, I mean, complete difference, right? So, I mean, why would you not get out of it? The only reason you would stay into a game like that is because of the community immersion. Because there was a lot. I've never seen a game like it for role play immersion.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking like the subpaths, which is like, let me give an example. Rogues have 4 subpaths. One is non-player character that anybody could use, but the other 3 were run by players, and you had to prove to those players that you were worthy of getting into that subpath.
Mm.
Which were like rangers and spies, and like you actually had to communicate and do missions for people, not just do the quest, get in, you got all the spells, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah.
I mean, the graphics look cool. I went back. I was trying to pull up a RuneScape video to show you because it is very, very similar, you know. And it was out. I think I want to say it came out like 2003 ish. But yeah, very like top down like this. Click to move.
Wasn't that one on a video there? Say 1998 to 2015.
Yeah, I guess it might have been even in the 90s. It's possible. Yeah.
I mean, it seems pretty old. I know Nexus was back probably in the 90s or early 2000s. I can't remember.
Yeah, this looks like something that had it. Because, I mean, you even have the CRT monitor kind of square look to it and everything. That's a while. I would have been playing it if I wasn't on, I think
No,
98. What was I playing in 98?
Too expensive. You're young like that and paying $15 a month for a game like that.
That was... When I started playing WoW, it took a lot to convince for the $15 a month for WoW. A lot.
I hate Blizzard for that, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They ask for so much in money to play their games, right? Because the way I've always saw it, if you got a multiplayer online game, is you should have 1 of 3 ways to make your money. One would be a monthly subscription. One would be to buy it, right? $60-$70 to buy a hard copy of the game.
Oh, you had to pay that too, though. You had to pay the cost for the game, yeah.
And then I'm thinking like graphic stuff, like skins you get for League, or vanity stuff, I guess you'd call it, right? That you would buy that supports the game, right? I'm sure a lot of games we play now do.
Yeah.
And that's your 3 big ways of making money in a game, and they try to pull all 3. Monthly subscription. Every update you pay $70-$80 for the new content. You shouldn't have to pay for that if you're paying monthly for a game.
Well, you would think that it goes towards that. They have explained it over the years, World of Warcraft.
So dumb.
That,
damn.
like, I can understand back in the day when it was kind of first out, server cost was so much more back then.
Possibly, yeah.
So, like, most of the monthly was going towards, like, in the vanilla days into the Burning Crusade, like the first expansion, most of it was going towards just the cost of servers. But then after kind of Burning Crusades came out, they kind of got big from, like, South Park, and that's when they kind of grew to, like, 10 million subs and everything. That's when it was, like, big, And then they started making, like, a lot of money. But they did invest it in themselves, at least, That's one thing with Blizzard. Like, I do have a lot of gripes with them because, like, what always, grinds my gears is when companies are like, we need to make these changes for balancing. And I'm always kind of like, yeah, but you're always balancing. You're always balancing. Like, it's unending. Like, let's find a balance. Like, balance means it's balanced, it's stable,
That's the big issue with League right now, and them losing people, is the fact that they made some roles irrelevant in the newest meta with the patches and stuff. Like, ADCs aren't really a thing anymore, right? I mean, they're still viable to a point, but they're not like a demanded need to have an ADC on the team, even in pro play. Right? There was one of the pro players who benched himself because he's an ADC player and he's been playing marksman ADC for 5 years, getting really good and getting to pro level. Yeah. And now it's a top laner could do his job better than him because they could just play a top laner and do the same role.
Yeah.
So he's like, I just benched myself then. That's what he did for the start of the season. So
in WoW, you'd get like, I would always play I started off playing a balanced druid, then I went to like resto druid, which was a healer then. But the balanced druid was supposed to be like the best of both worlds. You were part tank, because druids had like, you could tank, be damage, or heals. They were spellcasters, but also physical when they were in the tank form. So you had a little bit of everything, and they would change it like every few months, like things would get changed, and like so like 3 months would go by, you were like the most beast damage dealer in PvP because I loved PvP. Then the next 3 months you weren't good at anything. The next 3 months you were okay in PvE, but you weren't worth it in PvP. And it was like that just to me is like that's how you burn people out because that's when like everything was coming about where like people were becoming addicted to the game, and I don't think it was necessarily just addiction. It's addictive, but I don't think it was just addiction. I think it was the fact that this balancing thing, I think that, well, it always evolves, but I think it's also a tool that the gaming companies sometimes use. I think that not always is it to balance, but it is also to get you to play a different character. Like especially in an MMO, let's say you have like the characters you see everyone playing because they see every stat, they see every number, they know what characters are being played and which ones aren't, and it would always be kind of peculiar how like a character you don't see people playing would then be the next strongest character.
Secret OP, sleeper OP, we call it.
Exactly, so then what happens is I don't think people were necessarily like, I don't want to like dumb down people's situations that really suffered from it, but I think sometimes it was also addiction due to the fact that if you didn't have one of every type of character, if you weren't rocking like 2-3 characters in the least, and having all of them ready when the nerf hammer, when the beast mode hammer would come around, you'd be then stuck with no one to play with, just like that guy benched himself in League of Legends. Because of a nerf going on, and, then you'd hear people like, oh, it takes me 10 hours a day. I play WoW 10 hours a day because they have to do their daily quests, their daily dungeons, their daily PvP on one tune, then the same thing on second tune and third tune. And they know mathematically how long people are playing, what characters they're playing, what characters aren't being played. So then you'd see this like unplayed character come along, and now all of a sudden there's a ton of frost mages being played. And then those people with the frost mages, you see them on longer that day and stuff, and it always boggled my mind because World of Warcraft, they're just making $15 a month. Why does it matter to them if 10 million people are playing every day, as long as they're subbing, every month,
that's their thing, right? It's like, but
like they don't need it,
man, they want money from every different angle. Like, the new thing came out, and you know what? I would have probably checked out the new expansion if it wouldn't have cost me $100 to buy it.
It cost you $100 for that expansion?
Well, I think it's like 70, 80 something.
Oh, and then with the monthly and stuff.
And then the monthly on top of it. I mean, that's looking at $100, right, in a month. Because you're paying the monthly subscription, and if you want any of the vanity stuff, that costs you money in game and stuff. Everything too is.
Yeah. I have so many.
They're raking it in, man, even with the lower audience than they used to have, or the lower player base than they used to have.
Yeah, I wonder what they're at. Let me see if I can see current World of Warcraft.
It's gone down. How many great online games are out nowadays, like Fortnite and League and stuff that's really popular with the PC gamers. WoW is going to be kind of left behind for that aspect, I would think.
I would have to agree that right now it's gotta be hurting.
Even some of the new MMOs that have been coming up, sure they're releasing expansions still, but it's still the same game, right? Mm-hmm. It's still the same game. I mean, they've changed a lot, and they came up with this classic thing for WoW now. I think it's supposed to bring it more back to what it originally was, how difficult it was to do the quests and stuff.
It was so great. It was so great. I just found out on Reddit they're saying, wow, Blizzard stopped making the post public about their current numbers, sadly, back in Warlords of Draenor, which was, I will say, I did play that expansion. I did too. It was great. I mean, going from the olden days where you couldn't play with your friends on different servers and you'd always meet that friend on like X server, and it kind of sucked to not be able to play with them,
Yeah.
and then to finally play WoW and just like server was out the window kind of a deal. Like I was playing with
Yeah,
people
you could
that
travel servers. Yeah.
yeah, I was playing with people
Yeah.
that I used to talk about playing with for years. Like, and that just blew my mind. Like, I was like, this is amazing. I
Yeah.
got to meet like my friends that I would talk in school with about the game. Because like you didn't want to have to re-roll a character or then pay the
Yeah.
$25 to move your character over.
Yeah.
You already got your friends on the server you're on and stuff. So
Yeah.
like finally, like some of my friends got to see my awesome Toon Tantalus,
Yeah.
like came in on my like
I
awesome mounts, my alchemy mount, made them all jealous because I could turn into a dragon. Like it was great. It was
Mhm.
so good. So I mean that was amazing. But yeah, during the recent one, I kind of thought about it because of like the whole vanilla thing. Because I
Yeah.
loved vanilla, I really did. It was all
It
about
seemed
the
like a lot of
questing.
people liked it better than what it is now.
Yeah, but see, my
But I
thing is,
mean,
I
now
don't.
you can.
It's not gonna be the same though. Like
Yeah.
vanilla was great because you didn't
It
have
was
the
new.
internet of today. Yeah,
Yeah.
that it was new, but I think more so for the fact that you couldn't go and Google how to do something. You couldn't
Yes. You
go
had to figure
and
it out.
yeah, you couldn't Google your best gear set, your best rotation
Yeah.
of abilities, your best whatever. You know,
Mhm.
we were it didn't matter about getting to your max level just so you can try and bang out the raid as fast as possible. We
Yeah.
were just questing. It was about like just hanging out, talking with people. It was like that game Second Life where it was just go on and exist.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
about just going on existing, meeting people.
Yeah. You know
We
what? That's what I always kind of played MMOs for, was
mm,
the interaction with people. I didn't care if I was top level and raiding the biggest dungeons and had all the best gear, because I mean that takes hours and hours of work.
oh yeah,
And
and
if
it's
you
less
can't
fun.
dedicate like that, then
It's less
it's,
fulfilling.
yeah, because you're just trying so hard to get it all the time. It's just, I
No,
wouldn't be able to do it, right? I mean, but now it's like a rush to that with WoW,
yeah,
because you get to, like, your boosted level all the way to the new content, and then you just, level up your 10 levels, and then you're with everybody else raiding. So it's more become about the raid and PvP at the end of the game. It just gets you there super quick,
yeah.
right?
That's why I think that games like in a way like games like Destiny has come about. It kind of takes out the whole leveling and exploration part of WoW. Like if you think about it, Destiny is World of Warcraft without the world.
Yeah, with the eye levels,
Yeah,
everything, all the item levels and stuff. Yeah,
it's just World of Warcraft endgame. You've got one city
yeah,
you pretty much sit in, and you sit
yeah,
there and queue, and then you get your loot boxes. You grind out your gear. You do your dailies. That's it. It's WoW without the world. That's all it
yeah.
is.
It's
You
true.
know.
Which is lame, because I'm a
I
big
don't.
fantasy buff, and I
Yeah.
love storyline stuff. Like that new game you're playing right now. Can't remember what it's
Detroit.
called. The Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like watching a movie, man. When I'm watching you play, right? It's great content for a stream, I think.
Yeah. I've been falling into kind of the story mode games.
Yeah,
That's, I mean, even with WoW, though, I mean, I used to just go out and fish. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You had your different professions. I remember my
yeah,
cousin, he's an x-ray tech. So
yeah,
he'd be working at work and he'd have his laptop with him playing WoW,
yeah,
So he'd be like, "Oh, I'll be back. Gotta go get x-ray someone." Go and x-ray someone, come back, and he would just be sitting there just flying around picking up herbs because we were both herbalists and alchemists, so we
yeah.
can make potions and stuff. We crashed the whole currency for potions so bad.
Nice.
So
That's
all day he'd be doing that, all day I'd be doing it, and we'd be making potions, and then we'd go
yeah,
on the auction house, and like people would be selling them for like 20 gold per. So one day we just filled the auction house with all of the potions for 10 gold per.
yeah.
and, and like we did it for days to the
So
point
you know
that
what you
like
do?
people hated us. Like they were messaging us,
Well,
"Stop like ruining the economy, blah blah
yeah.
blah."
I used to do the same thing, but the opposite, to the point where it's like, sure, gather what you can of that material. But I
hmm
used to go in the auction house and buy everything that I could afford of that
Ah,
material to make
yeah.
less stock on there. And then I can decide the prices if I want to lower it, raise it, or lower it, or whatever, right?
hmm
Some of the stuff that I tried to do. A big one like that right now is called Albion Online.
I've heard that's the Fable one, right?
I don't know if it's a Fable one really, but
I think
it's
it
more
is.
like you can't really get any other items. There's no like special loot drops or anything. You can make every item in the game and trade it that way, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the towns, the buildings in towns where you repair your gear and stuff is upkept by people, and it's all very character immersion for sure.
See, that's what I think I've been hearing about Fallout 76. I think that's what Fallout 76 is trying to be.
That
Where,
would be cool. That would be cool.
yeah, because everything they're mentioning about there's going to be no NPCs really. Like, there's going to be
Yeah.
some,
Yeah.
but they're not going to be human NPCs. But everything other than that is like you choose what you're gonna do. So like it kind of sounds like you're mentioning like if you want to play the game and you want to just sell gear,
Yeah.
then you got to go
Make gear and sell
farm.
it.
Yeah, you go
You,
out, you
you
farm
don't
for
have
the
to be a fighter.
stuff. You know, then you go and sit in your house and you sell gear, and other humans might come up and try and rob you or kill you. You
So
know, and like it's going to be like a realistic world kind of
yeah.
simulator. But I mean that's what like it kind of seems like. It really doesn't look like they're giving much like dedicated info yet,
Yeah.
but that sounds interesting. That sounds cool. i
But
i,
that's
I wonder if
sorry.
gamers are cool with that though. Like I don't know if they're ready. I mean, we've got the biggest game right now is Fortnite. That's
Yeah. They just want
gigantic.
to run and shoot.
Yeah, like let me queue in. I'm gonna play for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Or you know what? Let me queue. I'm gonna play for 2 minutes. I'm gonna drop into
Yeah.
Tilted Towers, die, and then requeue again. Drop into Tilted Towers,
Yeah.
die, and requeue. You know,
Yeah.
like once in
Yeah.
a while, I'm gonna go randomly land out in like Moisty Mire. Just to kind of change it
Well, let's
up.
put it this way: Fortnite does have the PVE where you can get materials and build your own little town and everything.
But it's so
But
wonky. It's
everybody
so.
would much rather play the battle royale, right? So that kind of tells you right there what gamers are looking for right now. They're looking for the competitive
See that.
excitement, adrenaline rush,
I don't see the
right?
only reason why I don't know about that for sure. I can't say for sure is because I've played a lot of the Fortnite Save the World version,
Yeah,
and it's
I haven't. I haven't.
so there's no story to it whatsoever. So there's nothing for you to be enthralled by, like at
Yeah,
all. It doesn't like people will probably get mad at me for saying that because yes, there is a lot of voiceover work when you're in the boards. They have a lot of these stories they'll mention, but
mhm,
there's nothing other than that. If you're not listening really in depth to everything that's being said, you're kind of like screwed. You're kind of there's nothing there, and so you're pretty much doing the same mission over and over again. You get into this like sandbox. You have like 8 different mission types, like go find x amount of this, go and
yeah,
save x amount of humans and this, and then you just do it over and over and over again. Like, and the situations that you're in don't change. There isn't like much difference in the world. It's fun since it's like a horde mode. You got to build your base and
yeah,
stuff. But when you don't have anything enthralling you to it, there's no like real character progression, And then you go into the menus and there's like 500 different cards you can get. There's all these different things. It doesn't explain to you really like in like let me see if I can pull up an image of the Fortnite Save the World menu. It is like the most confusing thing
yeah.
I've
I really
ever
like
seen.
sandbox games though.
Sandbox is great, but then you see
Yeah.
everything else to the game, and it
Mhm.
just like here's like a
I feel like those are
little.
the two styles that people like right now, though. The battle royale, run and shoot games, or first person FPS style, or sandbox like Minecraft or Ark or stuff like. Or that's what I like, anyways. Those couple of things.
These things aren't even doing it justice to show how confusing it is. Like it's just is like hundreds of different traps, hundreds of different guns, hundreds of different companions. You don't have anything that really fully explains to you how those companions raise your stats. They just do. You
Yeah,
know,
okay.
like
Yeah,
it is like you look
that
at
seems.
it and
Well, it
it's
gives you something to work towards. I guess is what they're trying to do, right?
there's an unending thing to work towards. I think if they
Yeah.
kind of like minimized it or had a better walkthrough, like, oh, here's like the menus for your skill trees. You've got
Yeah.
four
Yeah.
tiers of 100 things you can level up in the skill trees just for
Yeah.
the regular skill tree. And then you've got the research tier and then the horde tier
I
there.
have no idea. Didn't get that hard in the Fortnite.
It's so crazy. Like that's like it
It's a
boggles
big,
my mind how different like Battle Royale is to that. Like the
yeah,
difference
yeah.
between these two things, the same world I think can be
Oh,
great,
for sure. Be
you
completely
know.
different. Yeah.
And then they don't really tie them in together. Like there's has to be over 100 different character models in Save the World. Yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot in Battle Royale, but if I played a character for like 200 hours in Save the World, why can't I unlock that skin in Battle Royale?
Oh, you should. I think
You
it
know?
should. Because I mean, I thought it was odd that you wouldn't be able to, considering you had to pay for the
Mm-hmm.
Save the World content. You should get free skins and stuff just for buying that.
Well, what they say is you're not paying for the game, you're just paying for the early access. Like, you gotta remember, Fortnite is completely in early access right now. It's not a
Still, I
released
mean, it's been
game.
out for a long time.
Oh, yeah, you ever seen the Fortnite loading screens? Every single time it says early access.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not released yet. That's how they're a lot. I feel a lot of gaming companies are doing this because
Yeah, early
they can.
access, and then if it gets really big, you might as well finish it. If
Well,
not, then
what they're doing, I think, is that they're using it as the excuse. If it's in early access, they can change up anything they want to the game and
yeah,
say
that's
it's
true.
because it's in early access. You know,
That's true.
once it's released,
I feel
changes are a little bit smaller.
I feel like it's past that point now, though.
I would imagine so.
Already,
I mean, they have an
I feel
esports
like it
coming
when
out.
it's like so huge right now in the gaming community. Right? It's just it feels like it should be out of early access by now. It's time to start balancing, and
Well, I
I
think
mean,
they
competitive
shouldn't.
scene already.
Yeah, that's exactly like I don't think that there
Right?
should be a
Like
competitive scene and the
if it's
game's
early
not even
access,
released.
that makes no sense.
Yeah.
We're playing beta pro scene. Here we go.
Yeah, like it's
Like,
that's where I kind of get lost. I'm like, all right, you've got how many teams that you've been making? I think even
mhm.
I even saw earlier today that they were doing a competitive thing today,
Oh, for sure.
and the game's not even released. Like, and so there's some stuff about that game that I'm kind of like, but like they are. I'm so happy to see a game hitting numbers that they're hitting,
Yeah,
and at
that's crazy. They are hitting some crazy numbers.
and they're not. I don't think they're taking away from the rest of the gaming world too. Like if anyone's thinking that, like because I've heard it mentioned that like Fortnite's just stealing all the gamers, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, PlayStation just sold like so many PlayStations because of God of War, you
Yeah,
know. So people
yeah.
are still playing other games, and I think it's getting more gamers to game, and then more gamers are gaming on anything that they can game on, and
No,
now
I like
more people are
any.
buying other games. Because if you're
You
playing
know,
Fortnite, you're like, let's say you get a PlayStation because all your friends are playing Fortnite, right? And it's like $250. You're like, I don't want to buy PC, so you buy PlayStation. You're playing Fortnite for free, you know. Then you find out you can't do cross-platform, or you can't use your account on anything else, and then you're kind of screwed out of a whole bunch of money. And it's like, what the frick? I just want to play Fortnite on my Switch, man. But like,
yeah.
that's a whole nother thing. But like,
And then the
so
whole
you
VR
get
thing is
that.
coming in.
Oh yeah, they're saying they're gonna be doing it on VR. That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna
Hmm.
be really crazy. I
Yeah,
wish I have Samsung VR, so if they when they come out with the Android version for Fortnite, hopefully they'll do a VR version. That would be awesome. Yeah, I have like the Galaxy headset, but like I think that it's bringing more gamers into the sphere of gaming that and seeing a game competitively hit higher numbers is great. I do feel though that when Fortnite, like I'll say it here now, I'll put myself on the record. Once the real competitive scene for Fortnite comes out, big changes are coming for that game soon after. Because little things like RNG damage output from shotguns are not going to fly when you've got $100 million on the line and someone loses because their shotgun decided to do 6 damage and the other person got the win because theirs decided to one shot you. You know,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not gonna fly. People are gonna flip out. Like I'm
yeah.
saying it now. I've been saying it on the stream. People are gonna flip out, and in that game, the way shotguns work is it's like it kind of does like a print screen or what is it, hit scan it's called, where anything inside the square of the shotgun reticle is where the pellets are going to go. It kind of spreads out in that square. So the more of the character you get in the square, the more damage it does. So if you're doing low numbers, technically you're not doing, high damage. You're not getting them in the square, so you're not aiming well enough. So a lot of people call that the true talent gun. Like, if you can get people in the square, it's gonna one-shot people. So if you have the highest skill, you'll do damage. But then you got to take into account, what if some person's computer is hitting 20, 30 frames per second? So it's only 20, 30 attempts per second for that shotgun to be on target. So there's less time for that person to be in the reticle, whereas someone who's getting 240 frames a second has...
Yeah, well, that's why they call them FPS games.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not first-person shooter. It's frames per second. Just like in Call of Duty days. In Call of Duty, the higher frames per second person shot more shots. There was a big thing in Call of Duty back in the day. If you had higher frames, you were shooting more bullets down. Like, you would kill people faster, and people were flipping out, So, like, I've been theorizing in Fortnite that shotguns are that problem, But, like, it's going to have some changes. But, I don't think it hurts the gaming community. It's nice to see the gaming community be hitting those numbers that are amazing,
Some of those guys got crazy views, man, on doing streaming on Fortnite and stuff, and I mean, they're usually on the top of the list for viewers on Twitch or anything.
Yep.
So you have huge numbers for a viewer and population and player base even. Because I mean, look at that list of players for Fortnite, and there's a lot of people playing it, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
It's not just 20, 30 odd big streamers. There's like at least 50 people getting like 1,000 views almost.
Oh yeah. Try and scroll down to the bottom. I used to, at the end of the stream, I would raid people at the end of the stream. So like I'd have to go to the browse list. I'd try and pick Fortnite people, and I'd be like scrolling for like 5 minutes, trying to get down to the bottom list, like 5-10 minutes. I'm sure there's viewers watching right now that even would sit there and wait, and just be like, yeah, he'll get down to the streamers with the lower numbers eventually. It'd be like at the 4-minute mark, you'd see my channel scroll by. Like, oh, there I was finally.
There I was. Okay, yeah.
Someone's going to find my channel while I'm playing this game by scrolling through the browse list. Well, yeah.
I'm sure I'm right at the very bottom when I'm streaming League.
It's tough. It's tough. With those games, you've got to have in your title like something like catchy. Either like I have like 7,000 wins, or something that just catches their eye. That's why I throw in like little images, like I'll have a little campfire thing or something. Because you're scrolling, all normal text, and all of a sudden a campfire goes by, or a coffee cup with a cookie. I see that and I'm like, you know what? Intrigued. Clicking. What's the coffee cup and the cookie about? Yeah. I think that helps, but that it's tough on those, I feel. And then yet again, first person shooter, you're dealing with the frames issue, so it's like good luck.
Mine are really bad right now because I'm working on my upgrade right now, right? I'm going Monday here and going to look at the parts to change out mine.
Oh, what are you thinking about changing out?
Oh, well, I'm only using the graphics card and the power supply to mine. I was going to use the hard drive too. It's a terabyte hard drive, but I'm probably just going to go for a terabyte hard drive new. What's the difference, right? It's like extra $50.
Yeah. So, well, you want to go with then high, was it RPM or whatever, rotations per minute of the drive, or solid state if you can afford it.
Yeah, it probably won't be solid state because everything else is so expensive. I'm more focused on the processor right now.
Oh, that helps for streaming.
Right, so I'm getting a way better processor and motherboard, and I'm buying a new case and just going to assemble it in a new case, right?
Nice.
Because if I got to upgrade the motherboard, you got to upgrade your RAM. And I looked into it. They're not backwards compatible with DDR3.
Really?
Yeah, it's a different slot. So if you do decide to upgrade to DDR4, just keep that in mind that you can't use DDR4 and DDR3 slots or backwards compatible.
Wow, that's crazy.
It just won't fit in the hard drive slot.
That sucks.
Marketing mechanic.
Well, yeah. Whatever. Well, that's why they change up the type of USB plug every few years or so.
Yeah. Right. Dude, that's annoying too. Yeah, I'm gonna pull the power supply and probably the CD disc writer and stuff. Like that's all still good. I don't care about that anyway so much anymore.
Yeah, who uses
So,
that anymore?
right, so I'll put all that in the new rig with the graphics card is pretty good. It's pretty new, so I'm not gonna
Yeah,
worry
did
about changing that.
you say you have like a 1060?
No, it's only a 1050, but it's the
1050.
TI overclocked
Yeah.
with the 4 gig DDR4, I believe it is.
Yeah, no, that's a good. That's a good. That's not bad. You could
Right?
do a
So
thing.
yeah, actually, hold on. I have the box right there. Oh, it's compatible for DDR5 actually,
Oh wow.
so it should work fine with the new,
That's good.
new
That's a good one to keep
processor
in
and
there.
everything.
The 10 series were good. You
They
know.
are good. I mean, and
When
for the
did
price of a 1070, man, that's expensive
Oh yeah. I'm
for
waiting
me
to
right now.
I'm waiting. I've been saving up to get a 1080 Ti when they go down in
Yep.
price, if they ever like. I'm waiting for Nvidia to announce their 11 series cards,
Yep.
but they're taking forever and a day. I mean, if they're going to be
Well,
releasing them by Q4, they've got to really talk about them now.
that's kind of what I was trying to do on the Intel processors. I
Hmm.
was hoping the ninth gen and drive down the seventh gen, or not the ninth gen would drop down the eighth gen i7.
Nah.
But I'm probably looking at an i5 eighth gen just because it's not a lot of huge performance difference between the 5 and the 7. It's just more the multitasking that you can do with the i7, right?
Yeah, I was
So,
just thinking about that. I think I had watched a Linus Tech Tip video recently, and they were
mhm,
talking about just that.
yeah,
And I'll find the video for you, but I remember them finding out that you're better off getting the i7. There was something in the hyper threading for the i7s over like the i5s and the i3s that just made it run like way faster. It's like
yeah, not with the eighth gen as far as I could find for reviews on it.
mhm.
Maybe for older gens, the
Yeah,
i7
it
was
might have
more
been. It might have been
way better.
between the
But I
4
mean,
series and that.
the eighth gen is still a 6 core i5.
Mhm.
I mean, 6 cores, man, that's going to help me a lot. It's going to seem so much better than what I got now. So I'm not even, but I'm looking at like a $200 difference though, right? When you're looking at the
Oh yeah.
i7 8th gen between the i5 8th gen.
Yeah.
For what I run, it's not like I'm streaming 8 different channels at once. I'm just doing, I mean, I'm doing it now with this crappy processor. So,
It's surprising what you could do with a crappy processor. I started off
right?
streaming with an AMD Phenom 2 X6. So it had 6 cores, but it was an AMD before they would run on the multiple cores.
Six
So
cores, big man.
it seems big, but AMD didn't have hyper threading or
Yeah.
at that time. So it would run everything on one core, wait for it to get hot, move it to the next core, move it, move it, move it. So it was always running everything on one core. You
Oh,
know,
I see. It's not
yeah,
multiple at once. I see.
exactly. But I did
Right.
have I had a Corsair water cooling like internal kit for it, so it wasn't like a custom kit, it was all built-in kit, and
Yeah.
it would keep it cool at least, and that's why AMD's chips would always burn up like crazy because they were only using one core. But now with
Yeah.
like Ryzen, they do have, I think it's called I don't want to say Crossfire because I think that's for the Nvidia GPUs.
See, from what I can see on reviews, is Intel is way better than
Intel's what? You can't cut out there.
is way better than the Ryzen ones.
Yeah,
Like for performance wise, the Intel line seems to be a way outperforming Ryzen, even on their 6 or 8 cores and 12 cores that they're putting out right away here.
it's hard to compare.
It is because well,
When
the
I'm
price difference is what gets you.
that's where it comes into play. With Intel, you're gonna be paying like 300 to
Oh,
even 500 more,
yes, for sure, for
and
sure, at least that
yeah,
much more.
and that
Yeah,
AMD chip that you're gonna get for that 300 to 500 less is going to be nearly as good as its 300
it's gonna do what
500
you
more.
it's gonna do what you want it to do for sure.
Yeah,
It's not like it's bad to buy the new card from them,
yeah.
but it's like I'm trying to stay away from it because that's what's in this thing. I think is the AMD
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, Vision, AMD Vision or something. This thing's
What?
yeah, it's ancient, but it wasn't a gaming computer when I bought it. Right, I bought it and put in
Okay.
the graphics card and power supply and some RAM, but never really a good processor in it, right? So
Yeah, you Frankensteined it over the years.
I
You
did,
got little
I did.
body parts from here and there, and
So
it's
I'm
like,
still going to use the newer graphics card that I got to keep it running. It's the only reason I bought the good graphics card for
yeah.
it. Because I mean, if I'm going to buy one, I'm not going to buy something useless. But
Yeah, 1050 Ti is probably going to be good enough for another few years. You
yeah,
know, I think that's
it'll be,
probably more powerful than mine. I have a Titan Black in mine,
yeah,
and it's starting to get old. I remember when I got my computer, got it with a Titan Black, and I'm thinking, it's a Titan. Oh, snap.
yeah.
Literally 2 months later, the next
Mhm.
Titan came out. It was like the Titan X. I was like, or was it, I forget what else, Titan Z or something. I was
Okay.
so mad. I was like, are you kidding me?
It happens.
And
That's how
I
computers are.
but the thing is, I asked the people that built the computer, I was like, when is the next NVIDIA cards coming out? Like, is it anytime soon? And, like, they're like, no, they're not coming out till Q4 of this year, not till Q4. I was like, all right, well, whatever. So this is like the top of the line right now. You know,
Mhm.
it was like to
Yeah,
beat that out, you'd had to have like a GTX 780 Ti. So it's the
yeah,
equivalent of the 700 series, you know, pretty
yeah,
much. You know, so like I was so mad because then the Titan Z was like the equivalent of like the 800, 900 series, which would be running Fortnite at like 120 frames easy right now, you
mhm,
know. But here it is, I've got Titan Black and I'm like struggling for 60 if I want,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And then I'm always kind of worried, you know. But luckily, capture cards save the day, though. Do you have a
yeah, for
capture
sure.
card?
I do not know.
They save the day, man.
Yeah, I may
Save
have to
you.
look into that next, but I got to upgrade my rig first before
Oh
anything.
yeah, once you get that
Or
new
nothing else
processor
is
in there.
worth it, right? Compared to upgrading my computer and processor and everything. So,
Yeah. No,
due to the
that's
price tag, I'm looking at about $500 to $600 to get it where
that's
I
not
want,
bad. That's
which
not
is
bad.
not right. I'm looking at, you can get a newer computer for 1,000 now, a gaming computer with like a 1 terabyte i5, 8 gigs of RAM in it, right?
Yeah.
DDR4, 8th gen i5. But I mean, why do that when I can just build it for $400 cheaper?
Mm-hmm.
And
Sometimes though you can get nowadays since like GPUs are really expensive, you can get if you had to buy it with a GPU, there's a lot of good deals to get them pre-built, you know,
yes, yeah,
because
you're right. You're right.
they're getting warehouse prices on those cards, whereas you're
Yeah,
getting like full on prices. They're in
yeah,
cryptocurrencies. If it wasn't for the cryptocurrencies, man, these video cards would be costing. We'd be all able to have a 1080 Ti right now because it would be reasonably priced. You
yeah,
know, you're still paying the original price for 1080 Ti right now. Like you're still paying that $700 price point most of the time for a
yeah.
1080 Ti. It's crazy. Like,
Exactly. Right. You figure it'd go down by now, but and that's
yeah.
what I was hoping for is when that 9th gen processor came out, the i5s and i7s from 8th gen would go down a bit
Mm-hmm.
with the 6 core in them, right? Because I think they're coming out with the fucking 16 or 12 core now in the newer ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guy is the extra
But
cores and extra
yeah,
what is it like certain type of memory on the chip itself or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Is it the new DDR5 or more than that or something like that they got?
No,
I don't know.
not even that memory. It's like
Not
it's
even
a
that.
special memory inside the chip itself. It's gonna help it like run like it's supposed to be like a massive upgrade. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
saying that Intel's doing this because they're scared of AMD right now, so they're kind of releasing like testive progress type stuff.
Mhm.
You know?
Well, they're catching up with that Ryzen stuff, right? Like, it's like you
Yeah,
said, for the price difference, it's not a huge difference.
yeah,
Right? But I'm gonna go with the i7 8th gen, hoping that it's gonna last me some years with or i5. I mean,
no,
with that 6 cores in it, I'm hoping the processor will last. Right?
yeah.
I'm very
You
impressed with
got a
how
good.
long this one lasted. So
You'll probably have a good 2 years.
yeah,
Maybe more. See, the tough
I'd
thing
be hoping
is,
more.
as games, it depends on how well they optimize them, But now that,
Yeah.
like, I think that we're gonna see a little bit of a lull in needing for upgrades over the next few years because
Uh-huh.
Microsoft is making sure that any games released on Xbox will also release on Windows and vice versa.
Yeah.
So those games will be optimized to be at the same level as what an Xbox One X is right now.
Mm,
So I think that that'll give us like a good solid 2 years where all games will run smooth, because they're not going to try and pump it over that level. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully. I got this
You know, yeah.
computer and I'm starting to, some games I'm like, oh man, I can't stream that one. I'm gonna have
Well,
to
that's my
capture
problem
card.
with this one right now is like I
Hmm.
can do League, but that's pretty much the biggest extent to a FPS game, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because I mean, trying to do anything else would just lag me too much in game. Not necessarily the stream, but in game.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just not good content. I don't want to be releasing half-ass content, right? I'd rather do a game that I can run, at least be,
You'd be
immersed.
surprised. You'd be surprised. But when I first started as Fealty Gaming, I started with a game called WildStar,
Mhm.
and the whole reason why I started with that game was because I was a big fan of this streamer named Towley, and he was starting a guild in WildStar. So
Okay.
I was like, oh yeah, all right. So I'll get my whole new computer. I'll make a new channel because I was also streaming like SWTOR before that, but on a different channel. So Fealty
Yeah.
Gaming started with that, and my computer at that time, it was able to run like Star Wars: The Old Republic on like low settings and do a thing, you know. And here comes this game. I was streaming the gameplay with 7 frames a second,
Ooh, gee.
single digits. It would dip down to like 3. And I was
Yikes.
healing raids with these frames a second while streaming. And I got up to like 200 plus people watching me from, streaming that. But it was just because no one else was streaming the raids because it was so
Yeah.
hard to get into raid content that no
Yeah.
one else was streaming yet and people wanted to watch
Yeah.
it. So here it is. They're watching a raid be done at like 7 frames a second. Yeah, that.
Yeesh.
Like, and I'm skilling it though. Like I'm still getting my heels off and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was working, but like yeah, eventually it didn't last.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't last. But like yeah, I finally had gotten. It was like 2 weeks after starting raids, I got my new computer at that time, and then it was like oh, now I
What a
was
difference.
like yeah,
That's what I'm excited for now. I mean, I really need a bad upgrade, and to get it is going to make a world of difference. I feel like.
oh yeah. And it's gonna open up the doors, like you said. Like you can only do
Yeah.
League right now, or you
Yeah.
also doing Darkest Dungeon lately.
Yeah. Hmm.
You'll be able to be like, oh, I feel like let me check out, Fortnite. Let me check out this game
Yeah.
or whatnot.
Yeah.
You
I don't
know.
know if it's Fortnite, but I mean, even doing something like the Champions. What is it? Quake Champions. I would never
Oh
be able to.
yeah.
I'd never be able to run that at 60 frames a second right now, even right. For
Hmm.
the recorded video and stuff. So I mean, can't do it.
I don't bother with the 60 for the streams or the recordings. I like 30.
Mhm.
I don't like because the bit rate on Twitch only goes up to 6,000.
Yeah.
So then you're doubling up the amount of frames that have to be loaded, but keeping the
Yeah.
same bit rate. Whereas like YouTube, you can go up to 16,000. I think it looks smooth on there, but on Twitch, I don't know. I always find like I think 30 frames a second. If you can get 1080p, it looks great. But I rock the 720, 30 frames a
I think most
second.
people do 720.
Yeah,
You know.
I do the
Can you bring him
6,000 bit
up?
rate. Oh yeah, yeah. You
Can
can
you
do
bring
what you
him in
do.
here? I gotta let the dog outside. He's
Yeah, go
wanting
for
a
it.
nap.
Go for it. Go
So
for it.
he just woke up from a nap.
I
So
will
I got
ask the
lucky to get
chat.
this long without being interrupted by him.
Oh
And
yeah,
hello
no.
to the people who said hi in chat. I missed it earlier, but hello.
We'll ask questions while you're gone. So, what questions would y'all like me to ask Dargos when he gets back? If you're watching, if not, we'll look up some League of Legends while he is gone here. I hope y'all are having a good time here in the Fealty Gaming Podcast. Golly gosh. I mean, we talked long enough about League of Legends here. Might as well see some League of Legends here. I'm really excited about the fact that League is adding in more stuff for the ranked systems to make it really be that much better. That you're not kind of being dumbed down to just getting kills or whatnot. I think it helps out a lot. I'm so excited to hear about it. I'm actually thinking about playing some League due to that. Like, I'm really like, ooh, maybe I should go back and play some League because that sounds like a better deal than what I ever got in Smite, what I ever got in the ranked mode there. You know, you get a win, you get 18 points. You get a loss, you lose like 20 something. You know, like, and then you're trying to battle back from that. It sounds really interesting to me. I
Sorry
don't
about
know
that.
though. No doubt. Yeah, I was kind of talking about League and how excited I was about like the changes that they're bringing to that and stuff with and the differences in the ranked and everything. Because that's still on my mind. That's still something that I think is it's
This looks older,
amazing.
that clip there.
Oh yeah,
That looks
that
like
was very
old.
old. That
Like season 3.
that was probably back when I was playing it because I
Yeah.
went to that after WildStar. I was like I
Mhm.
want to have like I kind of got burned out from WildStar. Plus the raid was broken, so you couldn't progress.
Yeah.
And then like
Mhm.
all the viewers kind of like they didn't want to see the same four bosses from the first floor of the raid, and
Yeah.
the players were leaving WildStar left and right at that time.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, well, let's switch the game. And that was like the first game I thought of. And I only played for like really like, I want to say like 2 months. And then I went into Smite and I found Smite. And I was like, oh, it's like the same camera angle of WildStar, you
MOBA
know?
style.
Yeah, like kind of that behind the back third person view. And you needed to aim your abilities with your character and also dodge abilities of the other people. So like it had a lot of the view similarities to what WildStar was, where you're aiming your abilities and stuff. So it seemed really interesting to me. Then I ended up doing Smite for I want to say like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I was really into Smite. I rode Smite for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I was
You
just
know,
like, can't.
I played League years and years and years ago, say a couple of months or so.
Hmm.
Then I kind of dropped it for other MMOs and stuff that were online at the time. I know Final Fantasy 11 when it came out was a big one for me.
Oh yeah, that one I played. I played
And
on the PlayStation 2. What'd you
as
play
soon
it
as it
on?
came out, though, there was that big issue in Japan with that tsunami, and it was down for like months.
Really?
Yeah,
Ah,
or was that 14 when it came out? I think it
I
was
think that
14.
was 14. Because
But anyways,
20
I liked 11
11
better.
was 11 was like on the consoles. I remember like I played that for like all of maybe 2 hours.
I
I
had it on
couldn't.
PC as well.
It was it good on PC because I played it on PlayStation 2, and I bought like a keyboard to plug into the PlayStation 2,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I can try and talk. But I couldn't figure out how to talk to other people in the chat. Like,
yeah. I played it on PC, so I'm not sure how the PlayStation
mm,
2 did it. Yeah, I don't think I had the adapter for the online PlayStation 2.
yeah, they had it was a little like controller adapter, right?
I thought it hooked into the back. It was like a
Or
big
was
square
it?
box in the back. I can't remember. I can't remember. That was a long time
Yeah.
ago, man. PS2, gee, I've had my
Let's.
PS3 for years and years.
Can I find that? Let's see.
The,
PlayStation 2 adapter. Let's see.
yeah, that's pretty old.
That's yeah. So you go. PlayStation 2 though had a lot of like
They had a lot of
adapters
great
and stuff.
games and stuff. Yeah.
Like even the adapters here. Yeah, they had a little cable adapter thing.
Mm.
Okay, I would show it, but darn Amazon likes to have your name and address everywhere. Why?
Ah, yes, yes, that's no good.
Why, our great overlords, do you do this to us?
Yeah. They
PS2 to
want.
USB adapter. Yeah, so there's a little cable like this. Just a little cable USB to a little PS2 adapter. I had that. That's what I did have. It was a little cable thing, but it didn't work. Like when I got into Final Fantasy 11, it didn't work. I would try and type and talk with people. I tried for like I said like an hour and a half, like 2 hours, and
Yeah.
once I couldn't talk to people. I mean, I was playing that from WoW, so I'm playing WoW, and then I
Yeah.
heard this game came out, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. Like it's an MMO, could be fun, you
Yeah.
know. So I
I was
checked
just
it
big
out.
into the Final Fantasy line that got me
Yeah,
into that online, right? Like,
people
I
hate
met
me.
I
I'm
met
not into
Sinful
it. I'm
I
not.
met Sinful Panda through watching her stream Final Fantasy 7 because it's just
Yep,
one of my favorite games of all time, right?
hers too.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
People. I'm not into it. I don't know. I wish I was.
I like the turn-based game, and it was such a grand storyline for that time, and
I
I
love
felt
that
the
too,
graphics
though.
were good.
I love RPGs. I just Final Fantasy. I never got into our like Final Fantasy's version. I don't know
I
why.
didn't get into all of them, but FF7 caught me when I
Hmm.
seen it on the PlayStation. That it was a great game.
Let me check it out. Let me see. Let's
Mhm.
pull up some Final Fantasy 7 here.
I mean, Cloud and Sephiroth are iconic characters from any kind of
Oh,
gaming world, right? So
wait, Final Fantasy 7's getting remade right now?
supposed to be. I'm not sure if it's being paused or what. That's been in the makes for a long time, man. Years and years they want to do that.
Hmm. Well, we got a remake trailer here.
I
Interesting.
know
When did this
Avid
come
Children
out?
was really good too. The movie.
December 20th, 2017. Got a little bit of
Yeah,
a
that didn't
trailer.
happen.
It didn't, so
Or
it's not
that was
coming
when the
out.
trailer was released.
Yeah, December 20th, 2017. Yeah, that's when
Oh,
the trailer was released. Is this
mhm.
a real channel? This is just a random YouTuber channel. So it might not be real.
Yeah. I mean, the graphics and everything look good for the remake, but I mean, that doesn't even look like anybody. Oh yeah, okay, I know those characters from the game. Never mind. Hmm. Had to clue in there for a second on who it was, but
This looks cool. I would play this actually.
Oh yeah, man, it's a great game. It's so good. Like even with the crazy graphics, it would be nuts to play this game for sure.
Yeah,
But
these graphics look great.
I guarantee they will change the gameplay and stuff of it, so it might kind of hurt my opinion of it because I know it so well as a turn-based game,
Hmm.
right? So if they change too much of the battle combat and stuff like that, it'll bug me.
Yeah, I can
Probably.
imagine. I mean,
You know.
it's one of your favorite games.
Yeah, yeah.
You played it a lot, I'm sure, you know.
Oh, I did hours and
Oh
hours.
my good. I'm looking at original footage now of like the original game.
Yeah.
That's quite different.
No, definitely. Definitely. Even the version that you buy now from Steam for this game, it's updated a lot.
Oh,
Like even
really?
the character sprites, like when you're in battle modes and stuff, and yeah, it's changed a lot.
That is
But for
pretty
back in
crazy.
that day on the PlayStation 1, some of the video clips were really good, like graphics wise, CGI wise.
Was that the guy I just saw there? Was that the gun-handed dude?
Yep.
That's so that's what the gun is. It's
Oh wait, I don't know. Maybe I'm behind in the stream there.
I have it paused now,
You
so we'll
mean
see.
compared to the other video?
Yeah, the big gun-handed
Yeah, the
dude.
gun in this one is like a
Yeah,
square grip thing. Yeah, that's him, the black guy there with the square gun thing.
that is
Yeah,
hilarious.
that's his gun. It's just no brown hand on the end, I guess.
That is hilarious. That's the gun. Let's
Yeah,
pull
man.
up that other. There he is here
But
now
but
in
when you're
the
in battle,
new
this is
version.
different graphics from when you're in a battle mode because the sprites for the battle mode are a little better, not a lot better. But the thing about the weapons is that they change their look as you equip different ones, right?
Yeah.
So they at least had that in there.
Golly, if it comes out, I'm totally playing the new one.
Oh, I will too, I'm
Uh,
sure.
I'm.
That'll probably be my only reason to buy it.
Oh, is it only coming out on one thing? It's not going to come out on like Steam.
I'm not sure because
Hmm.
PlayStation has always been pretty strict about being good with PlayStation. Right,
Yeah.
Square Enix has always been exclusively kind of PlayStation. They only released like no, I guess probably it would be nowadays because they got the newest PlayStation out for Steam, whatever
Maybe.
it's 15 or
Isn't
something.
isn't like Tomb Raider also Square Enix? Okay.
I don't know.
No, there's
Oh, so there's not many companies that are not American games anyway.
yeah.
They've probably got a lot of Japanese or foreign or wherever it's originally from games.
Well,
I think
Final
it's
Fantasy VII's only $12 on Steam right now.
yeah, it is. I already have it though. I was gonna get 8 because I thought it was on sale too, but
Yeah, I
I
could
think
see
it's
though the
still on.
upgrades you're talking about though.
Hmm.
Definitely, yeah, a little upgrade.
Yeah, yeah,
That
for sure.
trailer, like the characters definitely have hands.
Yeah,
you know, they
yeah.
they have real hands in this one. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had only so much memory to work with, I guess, right? Because I mean,
Yeah, there we
you're looking
go.
at 3 black discs for this game.
Gun hand dude actually has a gun on his hand in this one.
Yeah,
What's his name? Barrett, I
Barrett. Yeah,
think. Yeah.
it is. It is.
I know. See, I know the character Cloud from. There was a movie back in the day. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a movie, and one of the characters was named Cloud, and I don't think it was even a Final Fantasy movie. It was like something like the Four Winds, or I want to say, or something like that, and fully overdubbed and everything. I think it was. I forget. I gotta find that movie. I've been trying to find it. I've been like looking up every now and then. Like I'll go and I'll Google random titles to
Yeah.
like like movies with Cloud in it sometimes. But then like I'm sure I could find it if I had more time to look for it. But I never have enough time to really look. You
Yeah.
know. But yeah, this Final Fantasy though, if they come out with what it's
Oh,
looking
dude,
like here.
remake would be beautiful for that game for sure. And it's such a good story, right? I like the story
I
anyways.
don't know. I've played Final Fantasy 1 a little, 2, 3, and then I kind of was done.
I didn't play a lot of the older ones, to tell you the truth. It was more FF7 that got me into any of them.
Ah, okay. See, that might have been it. Maybe because I skipped then the later ones. I played a little bit of 13, and
Mhm.
it was okay. It was
I like to
okay.
say I'm not a graphics guy, but when it comes to the like 2D graphics of 1 and 2, it's a little bit not enough graphics for a game that's turn-based and not super exciting as it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? You kind of want something there in the graphics because it's not that exciting being a turn-based game and everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you need some kind
So
of
I would, yeah,
visual.
something, you know.
Wow, that trailer we looked at before for Final Fantasy 7 was E3 2015.
Okay.
That is crazy. I just pulled this up on Tech Radar. E3 2015 trailer. When is this game coming out?
It probably will not, man. That's the thing, right? I mean, I think they're kind of battling with they want to put in new styles of stuff into the game, but if they change the game, all the old lovers of Final Fantasy are going to hate it,
Yeah,
right?
maybe, yeah.
Or be accepting of it. Maybe they will be accepting of it, but I highly doubt it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like I know Advent Children, the movie was really well done. I was impressed with that as a Final Fantasy fan. That was a good movie.
Yeah, I liked
Hmm.
what was it? Is that the movie with the ghosts or whatnot?
No, that's Spirits Within.
Okay, I liked that one. But
That one I
I
didn't
never
like as much.
played really the newer Final Fantasies. So like for me it was just that movie existed.
Just a new movie, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So it's
And that's
in.
kind of all it was because it didn't really link to any of the Final Fantasies that I know of.
Oh, did it not?
It
Okay.
was just kind of their take on a movie, I think.
Hmm.
Maybe it did, but I don't remember any of that. So maybe it was from a different game.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I like the movie, but yeah, I didn't know it didn't link because I don't know. I didn't really play them. I played my RPGs were like Legend of Legaia. That was like my like earlier one that was on PlayStation. It was so good. It was like 4 discs. It
Yeah.
was a gigantic game, and then later on a game called Lost Odyssey, which was stunning. That one
Mhm.
was really good. And then like
I've always,
Fable, but that was different. That was like 3D though.
yeah, I was always trying to find one for the PlayStation One that was called the Jade Cocoon.
The Jade Cocoon. That sounds
And I
familiar.
can never find it anywhere on anything.
Jade Cocoon Story of Tamamayu?
I have no idea if that's. I can't remember. It was years ago, but I know it was called the Jade Cocoon, and it was like really weird. You can catch monsters and like meld them to make more powerful monsters, and they all had different elements and stuff. Like I really would have liked to find that game to play it some more, but could never find it. So
Let's see, I think I found a video of it. You'll see it in a little bit.
yeah, I'm a little bit delayed. Oof, as Blue Fang would say there in the chat.
Jade Cocoon. Interesting
Yeah,
graphics.
this is the one. I'm pretty sure. But this is like PlayStation One again, right? This is the
Oh, yeah.
graphics looking at for that time.
I mean, I loved the turn-based fighting back then. I'll show you all. Let's see if I can find it of Legaia. This was PlayStation 1. Let's see. Let's play Legend of Legaia PS1. Here we go. This game blew my mind back in the day.
I've never heard of it. Not that I can think of anyway.
It was like open world. It was all about this tree, this like tree in your town, and then a darkness, this like poison started attacking, and it was like depowering the tree, and then you have to save like the one tree and then go to the next one, and you got to restore all the trees, but it had like this big world to go through and everything. Oh my goodness, seeing it right now. It was so good.
I would probably play back in the day.
It was great. It's a little bit like Zelda, but it had the turn-based fighting, though.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's like when you'd finally get on into it, it was like the turn-based fighting. But a lot of like walking around and stuff. Let's see if I can find a fight scene here. Like the fights, you'd have to like bring the right gear with you into the fights. It was... If you didn't have like your water defense for like a water battle... here's the fights. It was 3D, kinda. So you had, like, this turn-based, you could choose the attack, your spirit attack, which was, like, your magic attack, and then you had items and stuff. But, like, for PlayStation 1, these graphics were, like, blew everything else out of the water.
Good, right? Like, that's what I mean. Some of these graphics are great for a PlayStation 1 game. No doubt, man.
Yeah. I remember, I got into PlayStation. Like, I had the choice between, like, my mom was like, you can get a PlayStation or an N64. I was like, PlayStation. I saw like Tekken, and I was like, those graphics look sick. Like the body parts, like the legs were actually like would bend and stuff. Like I was like, that's amazing. Side me up. The fighting's great.
That does look like cool battle scene though. I think one of the funnest games that I've played for a turn-based battle style would be Legend of the Dragoon.
Legend of the Dragoon. Let's see.
For PlayStation 1. It's like the same like 3-part people in your party battle style like Final Fantasy was.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to hit combos by timing your presses of the button, and if you screw up your combo, it does way less damage than your attacks.
Legend of the Gaia had that too with combos. You had like
press
skill.
Buttons.
Wonder if it's the same. Wonder if it's the same company that made it.
Possibly.
I mean, they're both legends. Yeah.
I still have black disc copy of this Final Fantasy 7 and 8.
Yeah, you know what? I just remembered now that the discs for PlayStation were black. They weren't like the normal like disc-looking stuff. Totally forgot about that. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I'm trying to find a fight scene now.
Yeah, no, Legend of the Dragoon was actually a really good game for its time. I thought so anyway. I mean, the storyline was kind of but it was really cool, the fact that it was destiny that all your team met and type of thing, right? And how it all worked out it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm seeing the fight scene now. It looks cool. These are games I like. I like the RPGs that, the fight scene was turn-based, but the exploration... you can get into it, but the exploration was like Zelda. You're walking around, you're exploring. Sometimes they'd throw in a little maze bit, it was like you get so enthralled with it. They're pretty amazing. Let me pull up Lost Odyssey.
Doesn't look like they did any good combos in this fight.
They were. That might have been
not attacking the thing like.
It might have been an earlier scene fight.
It didn't even show the combos, right? Because, I mean, some of them are like 4-hit combos where you got to tap at a certain time, right? Like one was an early tap. Other was you got to wait for the square to release, right? That wasn't a horrible example for that game.
I'm showing some Lost Odyssey right now, and I just realized I pulled up a video, and it's Dan's Gaming from like 2014. Wow, he looks so different. He's got his knee up, sitting back, like, man, I'm so cool. Like,
what is it now? What does he do now?
Well, he definitely never puts his knee up. He's definitely gained a few pounds. I mean, I'm a fat guy, but like, I'm not trying to talk down about him or anything.
I guess that's what happens when you sit there and game all day.
Yeah. He's
My
got the
dog
goatee.
I guess.
But like, this game though, this is Lost Odyssey. This is on I want to say Xbox 360.
Is it?
Yeah, you had to like time your like button press while you're doing your attack. It had it was but so stunning, like the visuals, the music, the exploration was there.
I found the PlayStation was just such an iconic system, dude.
Yeah, that
I
one.
mean, I know we were talking about Metal Gear before, and I didn't get a chance to mention like stuff like, that's 64 had the 4 players, right? And then, but when PlayStation started doing stuff like you're fighting that one Psycho Mantis guy, and you got to take your controller port out of the player 1 and put it in player 2,
Yeah.
so he can't read your mind.
Yeah.
It was very interactive, right? Or it's like the one guy forgets the codec code, and he's like, "Oh, you got to look on the back of the CD case." So you actually got to find the case that you bought to get the number off of there, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah,
stuff like that. I thought was really cool.
I've been trying to think of things similar to that to have happened like more recent times, but I like because me and Bearded had talked about that in the podcast, like about how back in the day there were like things like that where. And they wouldn't hold your hand though. Like if you didn't learn to move that controller to port 2, you would just never beat that part.
Yeah, and the only option you had was going to the magazine store and trying to find an IGN gaming magazine
or PlayStation Underground. PlayStation Underground was great,
Looking up tips, yeah.
And that was back when like that. Like I feel that things like IGN, GameSpot, and stuff kind of have lost almost a reason to exist because of that. Like now it's just like, this game is awesome, you should get this game, even though the game they're like, yeah, this game has some downsides, but you know what? But it's really just a broken spot, like in the map.
It is,
It's maybe something they didn't realize. Like there was that in the forest. There's this little like hidden spot.
There's been that since the days of Doom, though, and stuff like that, like secret hidden spots that you could find. Or Duke Nukem was a big one, wasn't it, for all the hidden spots? Was it Doom or Doom? One of those two.
I think it was Doom.
Oh yeah.
I know Wolfenstein had a lot of hidden spots too. I remember Wolfenstein. It would be like something's hidden behind a poster.
You know what? I'd love to do Wolfenstein for a stream. Like find a copy of that and do like an old school. What is that? Like 16-bit maybe? I don't even know.
Oh, it's gotta be. I would show it on the stream, but I don't want to get in trouble. I would show it. That game, though, I was playing that game as like I want to say like 5 years old. I was playing that game, like 5 or 7 maybe. I was a little kid, like I'm gonna get all these, evil people of history, like that I'm gonna convention. I was like, got another one, like and my mom would come in. I remember like my mom came in the room and saw me playing because we only had a demo of that game. Like I didn't actually have the game. It was
the discs from the magazines.
Not even from magazine. It was mailed to us because I think Nintendo Power and some of the other companies probably were selling addresses out. So it was like mailed to us from something. Like somehow it just ended up in the mail, and it was like, here's this game demo disc for your computer, and here I am on my Macintosh Performa. It must have been through Apple. On Macintosh Performa, I'm playing Wolfenstein, and I only had the first board. That's all I could play. So I found all the hidden spots. There was one behind a poster of a certain symbol. There's like another one in this wall. But they didn't hold your hand in any way, shape, or form. If there was a part that you couldn't figure out, you just didn't beat the game.
You're stuck. Until you figure it out, you're done with this game.
And they really but people wouldn't get mad though. Like it wasn't even a thought. Like No one would be
So
like, I
enjoy
want
the
my
game.
money back. Like, the game's broken because I can't beat it, you know? Nowadays, if people can't figure something out, they're just going to initially think, game's broken.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
beat it.
for sure.
Give me
Yeah,
my money back. Like,
which is like, try hard enough at it, and I mean,
yeah.
probably could beat it, right? I don't know. Not sure how they would play it all out, but yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. You know,
Hello in the chat there, people saying hi.
usually when I podcast, I don't talk to the chat. Just
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I not supposed to? Just
no,
shut
you
up in there,
can. What
guys.
up, chat? How's it going? If you guys got any question for Dargos, feel free to throw it in the chat there. But like, I'm trying to think though, like on that though, like what today could it work? Is there anything that exists similar to it? You know, or have games changed? Like, so I'm thinking of games I played recently, like God of War. Didn't really have anything like that. Stare into the camera. Yes, that pretty face. You know, didn't really have anything like that. And now Detroit Become Human. I think that Detroit Become
It's hard to
Human,
do.
though, it does have more akin to the old games, though. I think that might even be why you like it too. Like from what you've been seeing of it, that like right now in Detroit Become Human, if someone dies, they're dead. They're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like if I fail at something, that's it. That's gonna affect the storyline for the rest of the game. You
I
know.
just really like how they made that game. It's different from most of the other stuff that comes out, right? Like, it's intriguing that it's so different with the choice making of it and everything, right? And like, I like the story of how it's based around an android revolution become free or whatever. It's pretty sweet to watch. I mean, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like that stuff too. Well, since you're talking to chat, let's see. Dargos, do Canadians say sorry or a or buddy all the time?
Yes, we do.
See, this is what happens when you ask chat stuff. They
So
instantly go towards what could get you in the most trouble. They do
I'm very
though.
sorry, buddy. Let me put on my two.
I'm so sorry, eh? Did you see what's that movie? Oh, sorry, Super Troopers 2.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, really? There's a lot. There's a lot in it that
Yeah,
it takes
comedy
place in
against
Canada.
Canadians. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's I heard you say that on a stream. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tons of
but we
every
do say
single
sorry a
Canada.
lot here in Canada. Eh?
But I mean, of course they do it with like the extra twinge on it. It's like, "Oh, sorry, eh?" You know.
Yeah, well, listening to Americans make a Canadian accent is pretty funny to us anyway. So it's just it's like, wow, that sounds off, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's for me as a
and
New Yorker. When people try and do a New York accent, they're like, "Hey, you got the water. You gotta get
yeah.
the water."
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's even worse for me because I'm an East Coast Canadian, and when you
Mhm.
get like far East Coast to Newfoundland Islands, Nova Scotia, they have a really thick accent and it's really slurred. They
Mhm.
shorten up every word. They don't say full words. No chance, right? It's
Really?
very slurred. Oh yeah, man, it's very deep. I even got made fun of when I moved here because I was young when I moved out here out west,
Mm.
and I mean, I even got made fun of out here because my accent was so slurred and everything, for sure.
Wow. Wow. So you lost the accent then over time because you seem pretty.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. Well, I mean, in school, is you can't even ask the teacher a question without the entire class bursting out laughing, and then nobody, you never get the answer to your question.
Wow.
Like,
Wow, that
yeah,
must have been something. I mean,
it was,
especially
and I
in
mean,
school, that must
there
have
was a lot of
really.
prejudice. There was a lot of prejudice towards the East Coast coming out here in school too. I mean,
Hmm.
like even a couple of years before I moved out here, there was a lot of fights just because of your accent, people making fun of you, and
Wow.
yeah,
That must
but
have sucked.
you deal with it, whatever. People are stupid. That's how it is.
I get, people in the U.S. kind of do it too, where if you go to California,
Yeah,
and you're like, you've got like a thick New York accent. I mean,
yeah.
I went to
You can tell,
Florida
right?
once, and I don't have much of an accent anymore. I mean, I got some of the New Yorker in me, If I get emotional, it comes out, you
Yeah.
know. But I
That's
went
like me
down
when I
to.
get drunk.
Oh yeah, if I get drunk, yeah, then it comes
Yeah,
out,
comes
But
out.
like, I'm in Florida, and I was like, "Hey, can I get a water?" And that's just how it comes out of my mouth. That's how I say it, And they're like, "Oh, you must be from New York, aren't you?" They're like, "Say water again." And I'm like, "Water," You know, now I'm gonna say it like more correctly,
Yeah.
and they're like, no,
Yeah.
it's water. And I'm like,
Water.
what? Like, I have to pause to think to
I'm
say
kind
that
of like
word.
you in my accent then, dude, because I would do like if I was saying water fast, it would be with a D and not a T. It would
Yeah,
be water.
yeah, I'd never say it with a water. It's
No,
just
that
like,
takes too long to say. Too many syllables, man.
yeah, like what's it?
No. Yeah.
I'm not moving my tongue that much. Water.
Yeah. Exactly. Water. Water.
So
Give me
it's
some
like
water.
it's interesting to go like to even Florida, you know, and they'll notice it. I love though like the Northeast version of like, oh, don't you know? Oh, look at that there. Oh, he's got the water. Oh, look at that there. You know, it's like a little bit like the Irish, but like, oh, don't you know? Oh, golly gee. You know, like I love that. Like it's more of like the personality of it that I love though. You know, but I love accents. I think accents are
I do
great.
too. I do
You know.
too. I really enjoy them to tell you the truth. And it's not like to make fun of anybody from
Yeah.
where how they grew up or anything. It's just different, right? And
Yeah.
it's fun because you don't get to hear it all the time from
That's
every person that you talk to in your area. They all talk the same, right? When you hear somebody
mhm.
that's different and talking, it's just exciting. It's a fresh take on language, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, like, because I think people mistake it, like, because you hear an accent you don't often hear, and you laugh, but it's
Yeah,
more of
yeah.
an enjoyment laughter of
It
like,
is for me
it's
too. Yeah, it's
and
like
an
I don't.
appreciation, like you're
Yeah,
appreciating the difference in the
yeah,
language, and it makes you laugh because yeah, it is kind of funny, but in an appreciation way, and like it always sucks when people get mad because it's like no, you're loving it, like you're so
yeah.
happy,
I'm
you
not
know.
I'm not trying to make fun of you because of it because I grew up
Yeah.
like that, right? But even still, it comes off like that, right? So
Yeah, like as a New Yorker, I mean, I hear a lot of different accents here. There's so many people that it's a melting pot here in New York. You hear a little bit of everything. But there, I mean,
it's like that.
even here, there's so many I don't get to hear. I mean, I don't get to hear Canadian accents, like the thick ones. I don't get to hear English accents. You know, most of the UK I don't get to hear here. But you know, there is like I mean, you get to hear Indian. I get to hear a lot of the island accents.
Yeah.
You know, Spanish accents. You know, there's
One thing for
certain
me was
ones, you know, Irish a
was the
little.
watching the new Luke Cage and the guy having
Hmm.
that real deep is I don't
Oh yeah.
I'm not even sure where that would be from.
He was Jamaican. Yeah.
Jamaican accent, but
Yeah.
the really deep Jamaican accent you don't hear that much around here, right? So it's very enjoyable to the ears to hear a new lyrical take on the same words, I guess.
I'm used to hearing that accent. Over here, we have these things called dollar vans.
Hmm.
They're illegal. They're not supposed to be done. It's
Yeah.
basically it's a van that goes down one avenue, just up and down an avenue, and they have like hundreds of them. And they're the dollar vans. You pay $1. Well, it used to be $1. Now you know inflation and all. Now you got to pay $5. But you know, it used to be just $1. You know, and you hear all of them are Jamaican immigrants. You
Uh-huh.
know, thickest Jamaican accent. You know, I'm not gonna try and redo that. I can't do it. I wish I could. I
No,
can't
I
do it
wouldn't be able to do
justice.
that. I
You
can't
know,
either.
but all
No,
you
that's a
hear is them
that's pretty
yelling
cool.
like as they're driving, like $1, $1, $1. You know, so you hear that accent, and if they get mad at
Oh,
you, oh
no.
man, you hear them they
Yeah.
get mad. When I worked at Radio Shack, there was a lot of Jamaicans that would come into the store. It was like right next to a neighborhood where a lot of them lived. We even have
Mm.
an area of New York called Jamaica, New York. That's just the name of the place, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we hear that a lot. There's a lot of the islanders, Jamaica, you know, Bahamas and stuff. You know, I love
We don't
that.
have a
That one's
lot of
great.
diversity that way, I guess not. But I mean,
Really?
there's a lot of Chinese and
Hmm.
Indian around, but that's different languages. That's not really just accents on English or anything, right? That's
Hmm.
I guess they do have an accent when they speak English,
Yeah.
but obviously you would speaking a different language. That's kind of a given,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I remember
So
I dated a girl that was Chinese. Her dad didn't really speak English, but
yeah,
he could say like, "Hey, dude." Like that's like the
yeah.
only English he knew. He's like, "Hey, dude," you
Well,
know.
I know there's the couple of Chinese guys that run the one convenience store down the street here,
Mm.
and I smoke cigarettes, and the brand is Canadian Classic Regular, right? Is what I would say to them, right?
Yeah.
And to hear them on the R's for anybody Asian is pretty
Mm.
funny to me. Canadian
Yeah.
Classic Lagala.
Oh gosh, he did it.
Love it.
He did it.
I love it.
It is tough. It is, for them, with them too. They don't have. I could be wrong. So if anyone knows, definitely correct me. But they don't have plurals in their language. I was learning Chinese a little bit, so they do struggle with like English, whereas in their language, for like plural tenses of like them,
There's
they don't
definitely huge
have that.
differences. Because I was looking into Japanese, and they don't have many. That is the reason that they do make that accent when they say their R's and stuff, is because there's
Yeah.
no R's in their language whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right?
And
There's
that's
no
a
R sounds.
it's a
And then you look at
very
Russian,
tough
it's
sound.
got all the vowels.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Someone
So I
was
mean,
trying to teach me the alphabet in Russian. I was like, "What? That's a
no, Russian's
what?"
crazy.
Yeah, like that's a backwards P or something. What is that? I
Is that
remember
supposed to be a Z with a 3 going through it or something?
I had
They
like
have extra letters in their alphabet, though.
the area I worked in was the main people in the area I worked in when I was at Radio Shack was Polish, and it also had a lot of Russian people in that area too. But Polish and like Russian, like Polish was very close to Ukrainian, which is very close to Russian. So Russians could speak to people who spoke Polish, kinda like it would work. So like the people who worked in my store with me were all either Russian or Polish, and I liked this girl that was named Olga. She was a Russian girl, so I was asking him, how can I pronounce her name like as if I was a Russian person to say her name? Like I want to learn so like I could say her name. Literally, like one morning, I'm driving to work. My manager was giving me a ride because he didn't live far from me, and we opened up together. And the whole drive there, he's just going, Olya. And I'm going, Olya. And he's like, no. He's like, that is not how you say this. Like,
Right?
Olya.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, Olya. And he's like, no, that's not even close. You're getting farther. I'm like, how am I getting farther? I said the same exact thing. And I'm still saying it wrong. Like, I never learned how to say her name. She
I like
even tried to teach me how to say her name properly. And she's like, no, that's not it. I'm like, it's it. It's it. I'm on point.
Funny, yeah.
Like,
I like their accent though. Even
oh,
it's
yeah.
pretty cool. Their language is pretty cool.
That's one, like, I went to high school with, like, my high school was 70, I forget, it was like 72% Russian in my high school because is in the heart of a very Russian neighborhood here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And so, like, I would tease, like, I would joke around with them, like, bro, what you doing here, bro? Come
Yeah.
on. You,
Sure.
like, davai, bro, davai, let's go. We go to the party. Oh, come on, we go to the
Nice.
sweatshop. We have a sweat, we have some vodka. Is good, we have a good time. And then we go get the massage. Is good. Like I would joke around with them, they would laugh. Even though it's so wrong, it's so off
Well,
point,
and they
but it
probably
was
laugh at
somewhat
doing
close.
it so bad, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Ah, that's funny, right?"
Yeah, well, they'd be responding back with the same, like, because most of
Yeah.
them, like, most of my friends in high school were born in Russia. Like, they had just, one of my friends, he was a year younger than me, not supposed to be in my grade, but had just moved to the U.S., like, 20 days before high school. 20 days. He got to the U.S. and got into my high school. He was still learning English, and he was a year younger than us. The way he got into our grade was they paid off the teacher in Russia to put him ahead a year. They bribed the teachers there, put him ahead a year. So, like, most of the people, the language barrier and stuff, but it was great. Like, that's what I've always loved about New York was you meet people 20 days before they just moved to the country. And then you're sitting in class with them. It was great. Like I got to meet and hear some crazy stories, especially about Russia. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. I can only imagine what it's like in some of those European and foreign countries to me, right? Because I mean, I'd love to see a lot of those places. They got a lot of cool architectural work in places like Russia.
Well, yeah, a lot of cool architectural work, a lot of
Yeah.
cool towns that just no one
Yeah.
lives in anymore, and it's like the scariest place ever.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that.
They were telling me,
That's-
Right
more
now,
money.
though, like in the cities, though, like a lot of them, especially over the past 10 years, like you don't drive in Russia anymore without cameras, like in the
Oh
front
yeah.
and the back
Well,
of
they
your
don't have to
car.
have insurance, I don't think. So dash cams are
Hmm.
kind of mandatory for
Well,
insurance purposes.
even if you have insurance in Russia, if you could bribe the cop,
Yeah.
whatever happened is whatever the cop says happened. But if you have cameras, then the
Yeah.
cop can't get bribed by the person that just hit your car and totaled your car. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
there's a lot. Like one of my friends, he was like, when he was there, he was like 13. He snuck into a bar and he got trashed. And then he was walking home. Cops stopped him, and
Oh,
he's like, bro, you always have to have your $40 in your shoe. Why you have this is so you pay the cop. They see you, they're like, bro, stop there. You're like, here's my let me go home money. Like it's
yeah.
legit what one of my friends told me. And I was
That's
like,
crazy.
oh my gosh, like the
That's
craziest
crazy.
of stories that you'd hear
You
from
probably
them.
get away with a lot of shit because of that, though.
Oh yeah, like I said, my friend, he was ahead a year in school because they bribed the teacher. You
Yeah.
know, like
That's crazy.
you imagine how many doctors there are really doctors. You know, I'm sure it's a high number. Like I'm not trying to get in trouble here with Russia,
Oh
but
no,
I'm
I'm sure
sure
stuff like
that
that they would
you
have
know.
to have schooling or something.
Yeah, I mean, but there are, I'm sure, a lot. I know I was watching a documentary about India once, and they were trying to go see doctors for I forget what it was, a certain surgery,
Yeah.
and a lot of the doctors like had these certificates, and it was like that's not even a school, that's not even real, and here they
Yeah.
are like giving medicines out, like legit medicines. You know, that was a crazy documentary, but
That is pretty.
it's shocking. Like being like I know even in Canada, every very regulated. You know, the U.S. You know, you're going to see a doctor. You
Yeah.
know, 98% of the time that doctor's not like a full on quack. They might not be amazing at their job, but they're not a full on quack, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, you go to some of these other countries and I'm like, wow, I wonder what that would be like
No,
to be
it's
like,
getting bad here with our healthcare.
oh, really? Is it? I
Yeah,
always
well, it
hear
feels
good
like it 'cause
things.
we have free healthcare, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about free healthcare is that you get help when they want to help you
Oh,
because
really?
you're not paying for it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a guy at our work, but like it was up north of where we are. We have different shops, right? But he got injured and was in a place like a city more north and 4 hours, about 4 hours from us. And he got hurt and he was sitting in emergency room for like 12 and a half hours.
Wow.
And he decided to just leave and he drove the 4 hours to the city that I'm close to and got service here instead faster.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because I mean, we don't pay for it, so they have no obligation. They rush right out and help you for money, right? Because they're getting paid for it. It's
Mm-hmm.
more like they're getting the same thing anyway, so they don't really care. They just patient after patient. We're just a number, right?
That's wild. Because
Which
usually
is
I hear like,
benefits and bad things, right? I mean,
yeah.
good and bad, good and bad.
Yeah, everything's got its up and down side. At least you don't have to pay like if you know somehow get unlucky and get like diabetes, you don't have to pay $1,000 a month
Yeah, it's good for
yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah,
you know, because that's happened. With my mom, her well now husband, they got
yeah,
married, but before they got married, on his health insurance, it was gonna be $1,000 a month to get this medicine that would keep him alive.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like not a
And
matter
how
of
do you
like
afford that, right?
yeah, like they didn't have the money for that, but like
Yeah,
at least on her health insurance, they were gonna get married anyway, you
yeah,
know, but they had to push it up like 3 months because, you know, he would have not been able to marry her. He would have died. Like,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
I can't afford my medicine anymore. I'm just gonna croak now.
yeah, like oh, well, it was a fun run, you know, like
Yeah,
that's
it was a
wild.
good time, but I can't afford any more debt.
You know, but then people, I'm sure there's always the arguments on both sides of the fence where people will probably say, well, you
Oh
should have lived a healthy life. How do
yeah, yeah.
you have diabetes because you made wrong choices? They'll
Wow,
say,
that
but you know, I don't. You know, he lived a
some
normal
types of
life.
diabetes are like that. Other types aren't. Right? It depends on what
Yeah,
type of diabetes you have.
yeah. Like
A friend of mine was
he's
a
not
diabetic.
like obese. You know,
Yeah, it's an
he's
insulin deficiency.
relatively yeah exactly it's more of his was just I in him, you know, like his
Yeah,
was from himself, you know, which is
yeah,
unfortunate. I mean, even my father, he had ALS, and luckily a lot of the things got taken care of, but there were some things and charges on there that's like, well, you want this certain pill,
Yeah, well, the prescriptions we still have to pay for.
Yeah, it's like, well, all right, he's gonna pretty much be paralyzed and never be able to move again, and that's excruciatingly painful as your muscles are just deteriorating because they're not moving anymore. Yeah, that
Yeah.
pill that'll make that pain go away, that's gonna be like $200 a pill. Luckily then you find, organizations and different things that'll pay for things. It's just, it's crazy. But then you think of, it's such a complex thing, though. Is it hospitals? Is it, is it doctors? Is it the health insurance companies? Is it, what is it? Then you hear of other countries, and then, like, yeah, okay, you have free health insurance in Canada, but you get injured, and then you're sitting there waiting, 12, 14 hours just to see someone, and then
It's
you
usually
decide.
not that bad.
Yeah. Okay. So
Right?
it's normally, but like, is that just for
Or
like
right.
colds or stuff, or like, what if, let's say, you have like a broken bone? Would you ever be waiting?
Oh yeah, probably.
Oh, really?
You'd probably be waiting a half hour. I mean, they try to get you in as soon as they can if they have no other life-threatening injuries, but that takes
Hmm.
priority, right? Obviously, in a
Yeah.
hospital. Your leg
Okay.
is broken and a guy comes in with a gunshot wound, dying or something.
So they'll take in. Okay. So
Yes,
so it's
they do
never like a.
prioritize,
Okay. It's kind of
right?
like a buck up situation then. Like, all
It
right, you're
is.
not gonna die. Just sit
You're not
down.
paying for it, so if you're not dying, then we're not operating.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
I do wonder
Yeah.
though. I mean, like a country like here, though. I mean, you think of the numbers though. I mean, 320 plus people, 320 million plus people. I don't know. I mean,
Your
the cost
population is
of that.
way higher than ours.
Yeah, like I can't
Way
imagine that'd be. And we're already spending 600 billion plus in
higher.
defense budget. You think of then what would the health budget be like?
Yeah.
Especially with companies, taking a pill that used to cost $20 and then making it cost $2,000 overnight. You know,
Yeah, big pharma is a big deal for sure. It's like, yeah,
yeah, that it definitely, but these things are very nuanced. So I think mathematically, it's such an in-depth thing to figure out. That who's to say? Who's to say what's the one thing doing it? It's probably like 20 different factors that are all coming together to make it into a
for sure.
golly. But it is wild to hear though that, like, because most of the people I ask about like the free health, countries, like you'll ask someone from like England or something. Quite often you'll hear, no, it's pretty, pretty solid. If I get a
Yeah.
cold or whatnot, which is usually why you'll be going, you get to see someone pretty quick and it's okay.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't even go for a cold. I'm not that type of person. I don't take many prescription drugs. Like I don't even
Yeah.
take stuff for headaches, but I don't get a lot of headaches anyway, luckily.
Well, lucky you. I get some migraines sometimes, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck the next few days.
Devil's lettuce for me.
That is, for me, nothing will help it. Even I've taken pills, I've tried everything. It's just my brain's gonna hurt. That's true.
I'm
I
not a big
think
fan
too
of
hard.
prescription drugs.
Yeah, I mean, all of them kind of are like, well, all right, take this and it'll solve this problem, but
Yeah, but it
it's
won't.
also gonna cause diarrhea,
Yeah,
thought
every other problem.
yeah, thoughts of suicide and
Yeah,
depression, and all you want to do is solve a sneeze.
it's like
Like,
it's like I laughed about this Champax stuff that you can buy for quitting smoking.
oh yeah,
And like on there it's like chances of possible depression and thoughts of suicide, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be stressed out from a lack of nicotine from quitting smoking, and I want thoughts of suicide because of the pills. That's not the smart idea.
mm-hmm.
It's like which is the worst evil there. you know
Yeah, you're already
but
pretty much like sitting there all day long trying not to think about like, oh, I'd love to go out for a cigarette right now.
yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
you
I'm
know.
depressed because I can't smoke.
And it gets you. You're already antsy from that. Like you're already like you're almost like wanting to tear off your skin almost because it's
Yeah,
just like that the chemical like grip it had on you is like
yeah,
I
for sure.
quit once for a year and a half was the longest I went since I started smoking. It was a year and a half, and it was great. I was perfectly fine, and I
Yeah.
forget why I started again. I probably purposely blocked it from memory because I'm like, why did I
Yeah.
go back, but
Yeah, I
like
quit for quite a while too, but
there's like these studies that it's like the third day you get hit with your first chemical uh,
yeah.
kind of hit, and then it's something like I think it was like a week later then you get hit with the next. And when I
Yeah.
first quit, it's definitely true. If you can get through those
Just
like wave
a couple of weeks.
periods, yeah, then you kind of pull away. But I also did use at the time I was getting those like e-cig things,
Yes, yes, the
you know.
vaporizers and stuff they have now.
It kind of helped, but like the first 2 days, I was just like continuously pulling off of the e-cig. It
Oh,
was
for
like,
sure.
like every couple of minutes, I was like, "Yep, gonna take a pull. Yep, that was
Yeah.
good." I remember when, I was even like, I would sometimes just like pretend to smoke. Like I would, I would go to like the front
Deep breaths.
hallway or outside, and I would just stand there for like 5 minutes just to kind of get that zen back, because you go out
Yeah.
and smoke and it's almost like, it's almost
Yeah.
like that kind of like, I want to say like, what is it called when you
A
meditate? It's like a
relaxation.
meditation, the act of smoking, because you get your mind off of everything else and you're just thinking about smoking.
Yeah.
Maybe you're looking at your phone, just scrolling through something. You put your brain into that like lull state.
It's the habit, right? It's the
Yeah.
habit.
You know,
Obviously, there's a chemical thing with nicotine too, but if you got
oh
enough
yeah.
willpower, you can get past it.
And the
I
two
just
2,000 other chemicals. I mean, they're putting who knows
yes,
what else
yes.
in there. You know,
Especially Canadian cigarettes. We have more chemicals than you guys do in yours.
really,
Really,
I did not know that.
we do have more chemicals in our cigarettes for sure.
How much do you pay for a cigarette for a pack?
Oh man, they're like $15 now.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's about the same here. Yeah. I
Whoa.
wonder what the
Oh
conversion rate
really?
is. Yeah, in
That's
in New
that seems
York
awesome.
at least. Yeah, in New York we're paying it's like $13-14 a pack.
Yeah.
But that's because we pay the cigarette. If you go down to Virginia, which is not crazy far away, a lot of
Yeah.
people will drive down there, buy like 20
Cartons.
cartons, and come back
Yeah.
and sell them. But they're paying $40 a carton, so
Yeah.
about $4 a pack down there. But up here, you're paying it's like $4 state tax on the pack, and then another
Nice.
$5 from the
We get
government.
screwed on gasoline.
Oh, really? How much you
Yes.
paying a gallon there?
I think right now it's about $1.28 a gallon liter.
What?
The
That's
liter cost.
amazing. I'm paying $3.20
Is that a gallon
a
though?
gallon. A gallon.
Yeah, but I'm paying it a liter, right?
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you said
I think
gallon at
it's
first. I
I
was
think it's
like,
3.2.
what is the conversion then?
I think it's
Gallon liter.
3.2 liters a gallon.
Golly. Yeah, 3.7 even.
Oh, seven.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
So you're like four something, four maybe five something a gallon right now.
Probably, yeah. Hmm.
Wow. That's crazy. So you're
Yeah,
like,
it'd be close to five. Yeah.
that is crazy, man. Why? Why is
Because
that?
we suck up all the oil from the ground, and then we give it to you guys in the states,
Oh, really?
and then you make it into gas, and then we buy it back at a crazy inflated price.
Really?
I'm guessing that's what it is because we don't have enough refineries in Canada. And this is the big deal right now going on with Trudeau and Trump about our tariffs, the trade agreements and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's been in place for years and years and years, those tariff agreements, right? So I don't think Trump and Trudeau are going to figure that out. Trudeau is a friggin' idiot. I won't say anything about
and
ours is an idiot.
funnily, the halfway through the
Pretty
sentence,
boy.
your mic even muted itself. Your mic was just like, "Oh no!" Trudeau heard it and was like, "Nope." This sentence that would look anyone watching that wasn't me muting the mic. Legit, that just happened. That just happened on its own. The mic was like, "Nope, not Trudeau,
Yeah,
not
they're
today."
watching. They're watching us. Ooh, blue.
That's
That's when you got to put up your little upside down triangle or your triangle with the eye in it. Luminocta. They're watching, man.
That's wild though. That like legit though. I didn't know about that. I didn't know that like Canada was pulling up the oil like in its pure form
Raw,
and
raw
then
form.
sending it to us, and then we have the refineries and then we're selling it back. Like that's
Yeah,
wild. That's wild.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what goes on. There you go, Blue Fang. Thanks, buddy, for putting that.
That's crazy, man. That's
Yeah.
why hasn't Canada then just been like, let's just go ham and make some refineries and
We were trying to look at building a pipeline that goes
mm,
to far west coast to get to the ports for better shipping,
mm-hmm.
right? And then I don't know why there's big issues
Oh
with that.
yeah, so
And
you guys probably suffer from the terrain to get over to go from like west to
yes,
east.
yes. Well, a lot of people are worried about like the like spills and stuff, right? It's more the
Yeah.
natural gas. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to make a pipe that could be then spilling, and you have so much of that natural wildlife there. It could really hurt ecosystems. Wow. So
yeah,
you don't take things like that into account. Like when I think of it, like you just think like, yeah, you just move it, right? You go point A to point
yeah,
B,
yeah.
But then
But I mean,
in Canada, you have to think like, well, you might have to drive through a tundra to get past here, you know.
it's a moot argument though, because whether it's going by pipeline or train or truck,
Hmm.
I mean, it's still traveling. It's got to travel, or we're
Yeah,
never making any money off our oil. So it's gonna travel regardless.
yeah.
It's whichever way you want to do it, right? I mean, I don't feel like trucking is safe because the roadways and how people drive are just stupid,
Well, I've seen that
right?
Ice Road Trucker show, and
Yeah,
some
yeah,
of the stuff there looks insane.
right.
Like,
Oh, for sure.
let's just
But I mean,
go over this.
trains
Like,
are only so safe as well, right? So
hmm
what do you do, right? It's
yeah, no matter what, it's gonna spill.
yeah,
There's gonna
some
be
human error,
accidents.
right?
You
Yeah.
know,
But the worst thing about the pipelines, like they're saying, is that if there is a spill, it could be spilling for a long time before somebody notices.
yeah,
Whereas with a truck or a train, it's a disaster. Somebody crashed, or you know what I mean. It's
yeah, and it's
kind of
gonna
on
be.
top of.
At least you also have a maximum set amount of
Yeah,
lossage.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas
Exactly.
the
You're right.
train can't just continuously go. You
Yeah.
know, like
After it leaks all out, it's all gone. There's no more to go. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's smart.
When I
You're
think
right.
of like the Gulf of Mexico and how many was it, like billions of I want to Google this before I guesstimate it of
I gotta let my
Mex.
dog in quick. I'll be
Yeah,
right
go
back.
for that. Go for that. Oil spill. Let's see. Gulf oil spill, Smithsonian Ocean. What? Deepwater Horizon oil spill. Let's see. Wikipedia. Wow, there's a Wikipedia page for the Deep Oil Horizon spill here. 4.9 million barrels, 210 million US gallons of just pure oil spilled. Wow, look at the picture here. Wow. I mean, that's the whole thing there. That's the whole thing there. That. Okay, this bit here. Okay, so that's not the whole thing. This bit. But still, golly, man. That can't be good. That can't. No way. I mean, think about how many fish going by there. I mean, it's looking like it's going all the way out here, all the way there. That has to get into the ground. That needs to get into. Gotta be coming with the storms when the rain comes by. I mean, all that's at the top of the water. Think about evaporation. Think of then the storm's gonna be bringing that inland. Gonna take up all this area down here. That must have been terrible. Who knows what that did? What do y'all think in the chat though while we have this break? What do y'all think about the oil spill? Golly, we've gotten into serious topics here today. We're covering the facts today. We're covering the news. Golly gosh.
Yeah, since when
Welcome
did our
back.
gaming channel turn into all news and political
That's
crap, right?
that's a great thing about this this thing. What up, Madtrax? That's a great thing about this podcast. It sometimes will go into a place where you'll never think it'll go. I was looking up the Deepwater Horizon thing though, and 210 million gallons spilled. So yeah, I guess I can understand when people are saying like, no, a pipeline, like you said, like it could be going forever.
You're spilling a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a small enough spill too, it could be going on for the entirety of the time the pipe's there.
Yeah, if it's just a leak or something, yeah.
Yeah,
Over time, you'll lose a lot into the water system, I think is what they're worried about, right?
yeah. Especially in Canada, I think you guys have I think one of the biggest like aquifers or something goes all the way up there, and then You know, you could
Oh,
really, then all of the drinking water is like, oh, there that goes. You know? But then,
yeah,
people will also say, well, then that'll also drive, technology to adapt.
yeah.
If all of the water gets
Water.
tainted, we'll figure out ways to clean it.
Yeah,
Like humans will adapt. But it's like, well, what if then one day humans can't catch up with the adaptation of what's changing? Then that's when you get a die off of millions and millions of people,
yeah.
and so what's better, not do the pipe, or you
hmm
know then
Yeah,
people
it's a
will
hard
say,
decision for them, so I can understand why they're, you know, taking time to decide everything. And
yeah.
I mean, we get a lot of First Nations against it, natives, because of the effect it could have on the wildlife and stuff around. So
Hmm.
not just First Nations, there's obviously Canadians who are against it as well because of the same reason.
Well, a lot of Canadians, don't you guys actually live off of like the food that you can get out in the wild too, you know
No, no.
I
I mean,
remember
why?
there was one person that used to come to my stream. I forget where they were. They were in BC somewhere, but they weren't like in
Okay.
a city,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah,
like,
if you're in a rural area like that, yeah,
mm,
you might grow a little garden or something. Yeah.
yeah, because he would tell me, he'd like, well, we go on our yearly hunt, and it wouldn't be his food for the entire year, but
Yeah.
it was enough to help him afford the cost of like, because they
Yeah.
would have to ship everything there. There
Yeah.
wasn't like, he's like, we don't have like a supermarket like you have a
Yeah.
supermarket,
hmm
so like it was like kind of like, it wasn't like we need this to survive, but it was like we need this to make life at least a little more affordable, you know and they would
Yeah.
make every bit of what they would catch would go to something,
hmm
even the bones, like they would sell them to someone who would make artwork and stuff with the
Oh yeah, and
bones. And
there's still lots of that going on.
yeah.
There's still lots of that. I mean, where I'm from, far east coast, they do a lot of moose hunting, and
Mm,
yearly they'll grab their couple of moose and freeze it, and they got lots of moose meat for the winter, right? It's just
yeah.
for sure a lot of people still do that, of course. And as for blue, not a spear man, I'd be going with a bow for sure. I shoot a lot of recurve. I got a recurve bow.
Oh yeah, I've actually shot just a training bow once, but I've
hmm
seen the recurve bow like in person at a friend's house. It was on the wall. I asked to
hmm
take it down. They were like, that cost me like $2,500. Let's just
Yeah,
leave it on the wall there.
longbows are expensive too. Yeah.
Yeah, I had like just a nice little training bow. I actually found it after my area got hit by Hurricane Sandy,
Oh
and
really?
yeah, so my neighborhood became part of the Atlantic Ocean one night. It was great. It was lovely. How much stuff got broken, my car got flooded, everything. But after it, we didn't have power or heat for 2 months, so you had to kind of protect the house. You had to really, because cops, our cell phones were dead. We didn't have power or heat 2 months. There was
Yeah.
no, you
Yeah.
you were living like
That must
the
be
olden
rough,
days.
man.
It was
You don't have to
interesting.
really don't have to really deal with a lot of natural disasters like that in Canada, right? I mean, it's more
Mm.
bring your shovel inside in case you get snowed in overnight.
Well, that's fun too. That's its own thing. The first thing I
It is,
remembered
but it's
though,
usually not life threatening like that, right? It's you'll lose
well,
power
yeah,
and you might have to figure out some way to make heat for the night or something if it's super cold out. But
we were using the stove. We would
yeah,
put the stove on, put a pot of boiling water so that the evaporating water would. But the water, it didn't. It would eventually. The house kind of got a little warm. But the
yeah,
first thing I remembered was the first thing that changed after a week was I was waking up when the sun came up,
yeah,
just
for sure, right?
just naturally, you
hmm
know. And I
No alarm
was
clock.
I was sleeping better. Like,
Yeah,
even though like this great catastrophe happened to the family, the house, and everything, I was
yeah,
sleeping better. I was when the sun would come up, I'd wake up and I would be awake. Like I didn't feel like like I was just awake. Like, that was wild. But also, I would wake up in the middle of the night though. Like I was sleeping better, but I would wake up in the middle of the night because there in the neighborhood there was screaming at night sometimes, like, get out of my house, like people were breaking into
yikes.
houses, because who's calling the
Yeah,
cops,
yeah, no phones or anything. Yeah, that's
yeah.
rough.
You know, so we would do
That's scary, yeah.
it was
Something
like
like that.
me, my cousin, and my friend. My friend's like a big 6'2", wrestler.
Yeah.
We're talking like he looks like Andre the Giant kind of build to his body.
Yeah.
And my cousin's 6'1". He was a bodybuilder for like strongman and stuff. So I have these two gigantic guys and me. This girl watched Channel Hive Queen who would call me the cute widow Fealty. Me at 5'5", like I'm 5'5", but like I'm wide,
Mhm.
And so it's like me and these big gigantic guys. But like so we're looking for like weapons. Like what can we use to protect? Because you're getting bored. Like you have nothing to do, so you're talking.
Nothing.
And we're like, what are the weapons we're using to defend the home?
Yeah.
Like, so one's
Yeah.
got a bat, one's got this. And I had this little, like, training bow,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I'm, like, practicing with, like, pulling back the bow with the arrow on it. I accidentally, let go and the arrow goes flying across the room, like,
Scary.
yeah, everyone kind of like told me like from then on must aim the bow down even if the arrow's not on knocked on the string or whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, that was wild. I would love to learn how to do that recurve bow though. Is it easier,
Yeah.
would you say?
No, because it's more like a
Oh.
longbow, right? You actually gotta aim off instinct more than you would with like a compound bow with all the pulleys and everything.
Mhm.
Because with the compound bow, you pull it back. There's really no weight to your draw after you pull it back so far because of the pulleys, and you can actually aim it way better and take a long time to shoot, right?
Mhm.
Whereas with a longbow or a recurve bow, it's you're actually drawing that weight on your fingers, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So you really need to have a feel for your draw as you're aiming, and then release at the extent of your draw.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
it's
I
fun, man. A lot of fun, great pastime for sure. We were planning to do some rad this year, but never did.
Yeah, I
So
watch you'd really like him then since you do stuff like that. But Joe Rogan on his podcast, he's always talking about bow hunting,
mhm.
even
I tried
in
to watch
his
a few, but he's got
studio.
like 1,000 videos, so I
Oh
wasn't gonna
yeah,
get to
dude.
that before the stream.
Pretty much, if you're gonna try and watch him, search Joe Rogan and whatever your famous like favorite celebrity is, and he's
Mm-hmm.
probably interviewed them because
Done a
he's up to
video, yeah.
like 1,400 in his podcast right now.
Well, I
You
mean, he's
know,
super popular with everybody, so
he's definitely the king of podcasts. I
yeah,
try and model myself a little bit after him. People will probably notice it's more about like the conversation than it is about like any one topic or anything.
yeah,
You
and
know,
that's kind of how it should be. You're trying to
yeah.
interact with your viewer or your
Yeah, the person
co.
you're talking to,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But he's a very intelligent guy, very well read guy, even though he's
He
just a
he is
comedian.
very intelligent.
I think he shocks a lot of people when you hear him talk in the podcast. And, not that I'm saying I agree with everything the man's ever said, and like
Yeah,
you haven't really even seen the podcast, but you hear him talk in a lot of interviews and stuff. And, back in the day, yeah, he could have been a little bit less because he was definitely, younger and definitely getting more high than he does nowadays. You know,
yeah, yeah. Well, for sure.
like on his
Yeah.
podcast, he'll get high with people on his podcast if they're also smokers. If they're not smokers, he gets high before the podcast.
There was
Like,
actually a show like that. It was called Getting High with Doug.
oh yeah, Doug
Or Getting,
Benson.
Getting Doug with High is what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Doug Benson, the guy he did that documentary, High Me or some Super High Me or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, yeah.
It's the guy that even when he's not high, his eyes are like
Yeah,
closed.
he's
Yeah,
just perma stoned is what we call it. Perma fried.
yeah. That guy, he's really funny.
Yeah,
He's
he's not
really
bad.
funny. I saw him on a comedy night. It was all about like with stoner comedians though, and the one thing that stuck out to me was a different. It was another comedian, and I forget. I might have been actually either Cheech or Chong, and like the whole sketch was I pulled up to a stop sign and I waited for it to turn green. Like, and I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
what? Like, I could just
That's how
imagine
high
that.
you are.
Yeah, like you pull up the stop sign, then you're
Reclose
sitting
me.
there like
Don't you be driving
waiting.
up here.
Like, but you just like sitting there waiting, like patiently, like looking at it, and just it just not hitting your brain, like,
I've done that.
you
Not with a stop sign, but Yeah. Just stopped at a red light and then it turns green. And I'm just like, dude.
Oh yeah, I do that at a red light that turns green. Yeah, that sometimes then you get in New York, you get honked and cursed out.
Oh,
Like,
you do here
oh
too. It's
yeah.
like honk honk. Yeah, they usually give you a couple of seconds to respond, but after that, it's like get the hell out of the way
Oh, in New York, you're getting honked out while it's still yellow.
instantly. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still yellow and they're already honking. Like, you should already be rolling. You should be anticipating the green. New Yorkers are like, oh man, I gotta get where I'm going. You don't get
Oh wait,
between me and, you know. Well,
does it go from red to yellow to green?
yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter which direction it is. Actually, green, red, yellow, yellow, green, red, red, yellow, green.
Because
No,
I mean, our
green,
lights
yellow,
always,
red. Green, yellow, red. Yeah, green, yellow, red.
yeah, our
Thing.
lights go green, yellow, red. They don't go yellow before.
Yeah, me
It
forgetting the
just
whole
goes from red
game.
to green.
What was it? Red light, blue light, 1, 2, 3, or like red light, green light, 1, 2, 3, or so. But yeah, green, yellow, red. But like, yeah, when before it goes green, I should have said they're already honking because we
Oh
have
yes.
we have like the walk and don't walk light things too. So that would make more sense than yellow to green.
Yeah,
But
they
like
actually teach you
you're
that
getting
right.
honked before green no matter what. You're getting pushed because you're not crossing the crosswalk fast enough. You're getting pushed because you stop for a second to look up. You're getting yelled at in New York because maybe you even tripped. Well, if you tripped, everyone's just laughing. I think that's the same everywhere, though. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, that's
I
true.
you could be.
Drivers suck. Drivers suck all over the globe. Is
Oh, do you ever watch? There's YouTube videos. It's like craziest drivers. There's like these compilation videos that are like 20 minutes long, and it's just craziest driver. I'll pull up one because
most of them from Russia. Yeah, with the dash
there's
cam.
a lot.
Yeah,
There's
that's some of those. Yeah,
there's a lot of
crazy
those.
accidents and stuff. Yeah.
Craziest drivers caught on tape, stupid driving fails. Okay, so we got August of 2017 here.
I always love these videos, to tell you the
Oh,
truth.
they're so good.
Yeah.
I watch these
Feels
all
bad for
the
some of them
time.
though, man.
Well,
Like
yeah, when it's like a bad accident, it's like, ooh, but
I think
like,
one of the best ones I've seen, like I have a motorcycle, right?
ooh.
So I watched this one video of a guy drive up to a car and he like was on his bike and then kicked the car, but it like pushed him off balance and he fell on his bike.
Oh man, you don't want to
Like
tip a
such a
bike
dumbass,
too.
man. Such
That.
a dumbass. You think you're gonna kick the car? It's gonna swerve or something?
Oh man, yeah. Like, what are you gonna
Pretty
dent
much.
it? My
Yeah.
cousin, he's a biker. He gets mad at people in cars.
Oh,
Oh,
I can understand why, man. I do too.
they don't know. I mean, but what I tried to tell him. Yeah, you're seeing the access now. It's crazy. I love these videos, golly.
You,
But yeah, I'll leave that there. But like, what I try and tell him is, when you're driving in a car, you can't hear the bikes sometime. Like if I'm listening
yeah,
to the radio, and not even like crazy loud. I don't listen to it crazy loud. Like loud enough for me to hear it. Especially when I open up the window to smoke a cigarette, loud enough for me to hear it with that while driving.
yeah,
But not like I'm not one of the. I don't need to vibrate the neighborhood, with my radio,
yeah.
which a
No,
lot of people do. But you don't hear
but
it. You don't hear that.
the problem with a lot of it though is like blind spots are a big thing for
Yeah.
cars and stuff, right? And even for bikes. I mean, you got a shoulder
Hmm.
check before you're going to change a lane. You can swerve into somebody.
Or if
But
you're
not many people
riding.
do shoulder check.
Do you
And
guys ride the middle, like the line though? Because here they
mm,
love to ride the line.
no, you shouldn't. But you shouldn't be right in the very middle of
Oh yeah, yeah.
because all the debris collects in the middle of the lane, right? And the cars, you're kind of supposed to drive in the tracks of the tires and try to be which side is ever the most given, like making you visible to the other drivers.
Yeah, and when you're driving with twos, then that's when they say you do the left wheel, right
Stagger.
wheel. You
Yeah,
know.
they stagger. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if one
Mhm.
guy goes down, at
The
least
left
everyone
side.
else, yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. My cousin, he went down once. He went down, slid underneath a parked car. His bike went
Ouch.
going, and it was all because the car changed lanes right in front of him. Didn't
Yeah.
even notice him
Didn't
there.
shoulder check.
You know.
Didn't
Eh,
shoulder check. But it's as a biker, I try to stay out of blind spots too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right behind their driver or passenger door, right? So I will speed to get out of that blind spot if I.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just safe to.
especially when you see like an intersection coming up or something that would make sense. And you know, even when it doesn't even make sense, you never know. They might
Yeah.
just be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. In 2 miles, there's the exit coming up, so I'll change now." You know,
Yeah.
like, or they'll
For
see
sure.
like a slow up coming. But here in New York, though, like, you don't have to just look behind you. It's not even just about blind spots. It's they ride the white line in between
Yeah,
the
no.
lanes. Like you'll
You
be
shouldn't
on
be doing
the
that
the
as a
highway.
motorcyclist. You're
It
asking for it,
it's
right?
legal. It's legal here. It's
That's
actually
crazy.
not. It's not
That's
illegal.
crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Like you'll
That is
have like
so
sometimes
dangerous.
like especially during traffic. So you're already in bumper to bumper. So you're having to time your brake and go from the car in front of you and behind you. You know, and then all of a sudden you have 20 bikes coming up between the lanes. You know, just
Yeah.
like vroom vroom vroom, and you're trying.
No, that's
You
it's
know,
so dangerous, man. That's,
yeah. And that's when people love to switch lanes and they have to do it fast
yeah.
because they're trying to get in while, you know, they have an opening to their right. So they're not really looking for a bike. They're
Yeah,
just like
and
waiting for
you
that
know,
car to,
some people
you know.
some people will do it just because they see it coming,
Yeah.
right? Just to stop you from doing that, especially here in Canada where it is illegal and stuff.
Yeah.
People will swerve into you and be like, "Oh, I didn't see you there. I was just pulling off the side of the road
Yeah.
just to be a
Yeah.
dick," right? Like, so
Mm-hmm. And then they know that they could say, well, you were doing the wrong thing anyway, so what are you going to do about it?
yes, I'm in the wrong. So what are you gonna do about it? Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then you could be the one who just got flipped over a car, you
Yep.
know,
And
and
I'm at fault still. Yeah.
yeah, broken
Yeah.
ribs. Like my
Yeah. I
cousin,
don't
he
bother with
was.
that. I think I'll just wait behind this car for now. I'm
Well,
a
then,
little bit more patient than that. So
even that though, even that's still dangerous. You know, one of the other dangers my cousin was telling me about was, you know, just because you're, you know, doing the right thing, you're in the tire part of the lane, and
mhm.
you know you're doing the right thing. People just come up and squish you right into the car in front of you. You
Yeah,
know.
well, tailgating is a big issue for motorcyclists,
Hmm.
right? I mean, I get tailgated a lot, and it's very annoying.
Yeah, I would
And
be.
if I go down on the bike for any reason, like an animal or a pop tire or anything, if I
Hmm.
drop it, he's probably gonna run me over if he's tailgating me, right?
Oh yeah, because there's no way he's not gonna have that 3 second cushion of time to,
Right.
you know, even be able to slow down, even if he instantly hit the brake because,
Yeah.
you
He's
know,
if he skid, he'd hit me.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
there's no way for the brakes to slow it down in time. That's crazy. That is crazy. People really don't, but I
Yeah.
think it's also because people don't know. You know,
That's true.
if someone doesn't know a biker or someone isn't a biker, they don't, you know,
Yeah.
the driving
One of the
tests are a
biggest
joke.
one of the biggest lack of knowledge is things I see as a motorcyclist is like I'll be driving behind and like maybe they think that I'm about to pass them or something. So they start riding out over that white line to let me see beside them, right? To
Hmm.
let me see out around them. Now I'm on a bike. If I wanted to, I could pass you pretty easily.
Oh yeah,
And I can see pretty well just by being out close to the yellow line or looking out around the car, right?
yeah.
As soon as they give me that, like I know they're trying to help by swerving out over the white line a bit, but it kicks up every bit of debris and dust and rocks and whatever is out there and right
Hmm.
into my face on a motorcycle, right? So I know they're
Hmm.
trying to help, but they're hurting.
And the last thing you need is
No.
even like the smallest bit of tire to get hit underneath your tire. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
I've been told. My cousin he told me once he hit one bump that he didn't see coming, so he didn't get a chance to prepare, and
mhm.
he literally went airborne. Like his feet came off the pegs. He said
Yep.
he was just holding on to the handlebars for dear life, waiting for gravity to bring him back down. You know,
I've done
like he
I've
was.
done that, but not super scary, like whole feet, but like my ass easily popped off the seat. No worries. Yeah.
Yeah, he was going fast though. You know,
Yeah.
he's one of like the bikers. You know, like
Speed.
yeah, he was doing. I think
I'm more of a cruiser, right? Like I had a
that's what
Honda
I
Civic,
would
I can
be.
cruise around on it. That's all.
So, yeah, he's got some like what is
Take
it
it back and
50,
forth to work and stuff.
I think he told me like something like 1,500 something or other that has to do with bikes, and it's a Harley. You know, it's a
Yeah.
big bike. Like it's got those sacks in the back of it and stuff. He's got
Saddlebags. Yeah.
yeah, he's got only one of those sissy bars in the back that's like taller than he is and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I told him, I was like, well, when you took air, like at least the bar would have saved you. Like if
Yeah.
maybe like he was like, no, if I let go of those bars, I was down. That
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah, for
He,
sure.
he was like, luckily no other bumps came up at that time. Like so he still stayed straight. You know,
Yeah.
since like he just got knocked up
Scary
straight.
sometimes.
That's
Mm.
wild though.
I watched a guy get into a speed wobble. That is so scary, man. I couldn't
Mm.
imagine getting into a speed wobble.
That's when all of a sudden
Ugh.
the handlebars are going like crazy, right? Like,
Well, it's kind of like you're swerving back and forth, and every time you try to correct, you overcorrect just a touch,
mm-hmm.
right? Going fast enough, it just keeps going back and forth.
Yeah,
Eventually gets bad enough that you fall, just like a spinning quarter, right? How it's so
yeah,
smooth,
yeah,
spinning fast, and then it catches that one edge, and then you start swaying back and forth like crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
That
watched a guy almost smash his bike with that, but luckily enough, he corrected enough that he could keep it straight. Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling me it was like the key to that is actually trying to keep calm in the chaos. Like he's like
Yeah, it
you
is.
since you're not trying to overcorrect, so like
Mm-hmm.
accepting the fact that you're wobbling and just being like,
Yep.
all right, yeah, I got this
Yep.
wobble. Like,
And
and I
the
like
thing
when he
about a
told me
bike,
that, I was like, I don't know how you do that, man.
the
Like,
thing about a bike, man, is the thing is it drives itself, right?
yeah,
Like you don't really have to lean a lot at all ever. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? Or correct with the handlebars, especially if the roads are curved
mm.
or any kind of thing like that. You're just pretty much sitting there and on the throttle. That's it. Right?
Just focusing on changing gears and stuff.
Well, after you're up to speed, you don't even have to worry about that. Right? There's some curves in the road. Obviously, you're slightly adjusting, but it's like if you learn reverse steering and stuff, there's no leaning really involved. It's like you barely touch your handlebars and you turn the other way, right?
Yeah, when you hear people talking about
It
like what
forces
it's
you.
like, just like the general driving, it just sounds amazing to me. It sounds
Yeah.
so freeing, and
It's fun. It's fun. Very fun.
yeah, it'd be a shame though that some people are trying to fight to just make it illegal since it is so dangerous. They say, and I'm like, well, it's only dangerous because people can't drive.
That's true.
Yeah, like
Very true.
all driving is dangerous because people can't drive.
It is.
Like so we can't like make all driving illegal, and I think we're probably another, I'd say maybe 10 to 12 years away from mass selfless driving cars being a thing.
Yeah. See, the only way that's gonna work. Okay,
Oh,
get
there's
down.
a dog.
Yeah, he likes to jump up when he doesn't get attention.
Yeah.
The only way that's gonna work, I feel like, is if all the cars are like that.
Well, it also needs infrastructure. I think that's going to take all the roads to have sensors in them,
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
and to build all of that, it's going to be
Yeah.
such an
Crazy.
investment, and it's going to have to start small from somewhere. So, luckily California's doing a thing, so you start small from there and then
Yeah,
kind of
well, you
take
got to get
over.
everybody on board, right?
Yeah, then all the car companies too, and
Yeah.
then each of them have to, and then all of them have to decide on a universal system. What can work in a Ford, but also work in a Toyota.
Yeah.
Now Ford and Toyota both have to decide. Like, I'm sure, Ford's gonna love for the world to be using the Ford version of,
Yeah.
you know,
Rather than Tesla or something. Yeah.
Exactly, or Google or something like, Ford's probably working on it.
Oh, I'm sure they all got something in the works.
And then they're talking also about cryptocurrencies, are talking about it where a lot of the cryptocurrencies have I forget what it was called, but it's like a storage way of like accepting data and stuff. It could work with like driverless cars, they're saying. So you're gonna automatically, but it's a way of moving payment into it. So
Hmm.
they're saying that what's going to happen in like 30, 40 years is you're not going to own a car anymore. You just get into a vehicle and then hit a button where you want to go.
Yeah,
And
like there's just random ones out on the street waiting to help people.
yeah, like in the
Free
movie
taxis. Yeah,
Hot
right.
Tub
You'll have to
Time
pay for it.
Machine. Yeah, it's going to be like crazy money, and then no one's going to want to go anywhere. It's going to be like, the people who can, you know,
Afford to go
go
anywhere.
to yeah, like the people who can afford to go to the Museum of Natural History in Manhattan that live in Brooklyn aren't gonna
Yeah.
ever go there because it's gonna be like $500 to go there. But
Yeah.
at the same time, there won't be any accidents, most likely. You know, it's going to be like an acceptable 1% rate of failure, probably. You know, so it's like, upsides and downsides, but I don't know. I don't think we'll be really old and not caring
Yeah,
by
I think
then.
we're a long ways away from that.
Yeah, like I
I'll
think
still want to drive my own vehicle.
I'm gonna be trying to hold out as long as I can. I remember my grandpa. I mean, this dude got through World War II. This dude, like, you know, there was one point where my aunt was like, "Take his car keys away," and he was
Yeah,
like, "Don't you even think about it," like,
yeah.
and like
That's my
ever
only
since that
enjoyment I
day.
got left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love driving, man. I love it. Even though New York sucks to
I
drive
can
in.
I can imagine it'd be very hard to drive in a city like that. Yeah.
it's it's like it depends on the time of day. Like if it's like 3 in the morning and you can get on the highway, not many people there. Depending on the night though. Like Friday
Yeah.
night 3 in the morning, yeah, traffic. You know, Tuesday night 3 in the morning, oh, it's like it's
No
beautiful.
worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like I'd go to like upstate New York where you just get a highway of just open area and
Hmm.
just, 80 miles an hour just going,
Yeah.
put on the cruise control, see the sights, Oh, so
Hmm.
good. I loved it. Once I was doing, though, there's one time I was doing like 110 on the highway in like upstate New York. And it's like I was in a Toyota Avalon at that time, like a 95 Toyota Avalon. And I'm driving left lane, this guy in center lane out of the 3 lanes in a pickup truck. And we're
Hmm.
both doing 110, 115, both like neck and neck, kind of. And there's an overpass coming up, and on the overpass, I see off to the side because it was like an exit that would turn into an overpass, so you can go and do a U-turn, pretty much,
Yeah.
So I see parked up on there 3 state troopers.
For sure.
I saw it first. The pickup truck didn't see it, so I instantly start backing off the speed. Not enough to be noticeable, but I'm
Hmm.
backing up the speed from the 110. So I get back down to like the 75, which is like the legal,
Yeah.
limit. And the pickup truck was like boom for a little bit longer. And
Yeah.
surely we're catching up to it. You see all 3 of the cop cars start to turn. They're coming down the exit the wrong way towards us, and I'm just in the car, like, I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, this is gonna be so bad. No, not like
Yeah.
this. Not the state troopers. No, can't get pulled over by them. This is gonna be so bad. Oh goodness, 110. This is gonna be like $300. This is gonna be points
Yeah.
on my license. Like, I'm like flipping out. I'm freaking out. And then luckily I'm going speed limit, so that pickup's pulled away from me. And the cops, they're coming up. They're coming up from behind. The lights are going, sirens going. I'm going speed limit. All of a sudden, whoom, 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 all 3 of the cars pass me.
Yeah.
Like,
Lucky.
when I tell you, I almost pooped myself because all the muscles in my body de-stressed. You know, like,
Nice.
it was such a moment of like, that it just almost like my body almost just let everything go. Like, I was driving, I couldn't move, like the leg was stiff, like everything was stiff. Like, I'm like, keep it calm, keep it calm. The cars passed me, like, and I'm still like, move.
Yeah. Moseying along.
I was
Yeah.
so happy. I don't know how I didn't get caught. I think it was just because I did it so subtly.
Yeah.
They couldn't tell which vehicle was doing the 110 out of those 2 because he could have just been catching up to me at that moment and
Yeah.
passing when they saw me.
Yeah.
So since he didn't slow down soon enough, oh man, golly, that was crazy. Have you ever been? What's it like getting pulled over up there in Canada? Is it like,
Uh, oh, there's still big fines on speeding and everything for sure.
hmm?
Obviously, we're in kilometers instead of miles, so
Oh yeah, good point.
you're 110. It'd be like what 170 for us in kilometers.
Wow, that sounds even crazier then.
Yeah, I mean, our regular speed limits on highways are 110 kilometers, right? Which is about what
Mhm.
65 mile, almost 70 mile.
Yeah, that's like
Like
ours.
you were
Let's see.
saying, it's like your 75 maximum, right? But I did get pulled over and stopped for doing 140 in
What?
110 zone.
Okay, let's see,
But
140.
I
So
was
that...
doing I was doing 190 before that, and I slowed down when I saw the cops, but they only clocked me at 140.
Wow, so at 190 kilometers, you were doing 118 miles per hour.
Yeah.
That must be, it's fun once you get that speed, right?
Right. Yeah, but it can be scary too, because you better not jerk your steering wheel one way or the other.
Oh yeah, or you hit that one like in New York, nothing but potholes, nothing but
Oh,
bumps, you know.
same thing here, man.
Oh
We get
yeah,
winter, and so do you guys with the
yeah.
snow and freezing. That's what kills the roads, right? The
Oh
ice
yeah.
gets in there and just destroys it.
It expands those cracks that have been there, those little cracks. Then then the plow
Yeah.
comes through and takes a nice chunk with it. You
Yep.
know, we always.
Knocking over street signs with the snow blades.
Mm-hmm. We have
Yeah.
in our area, they just hire privately for the plow drivers
Oh,
out here. So if you have a plow, you can, it's something like $200 a day to go out there, and then they also pay your gas.
yeah.
So a lot of you hit
Um,
every car, like you hit
we
everyone.
have contracted people for that from like the cities and towns and
Hmm.
government for like highways and stuff.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. For highway,
for
same here.
parking lots and rural stuff, you can hire bobcats and stuff like that.
It's
Do it.
when they do that, it's crazy because those guys they mess up, man. Like literally, it was in the news. An entire block got hit by the plow. All the
Oh,
cars parked on the block.
they wouldn't that wouldn't fly here. They'd have to
Oh
pay
yeah,
for every car.
really?
Well, it's like every year. It's a regular 7 months of the year is snow, right? So
Oh yeah, yeah,
if they're gonna hit that many cars,
yeah,
then your company's going under fast, right? And
yeah.
nobody's gonna want to hire you to do any of the streets if you're gonna hit my car. I got a truck. I'll just drive over the snow.
Well, over here, it's not even. It's not a company. It's just this guy has a plow on his truck. He's just
But you still got to have insurance for hitting other people's vehicles.
no, no. He's well, maybe he'd have car insurance for his vehicle, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't. I don't think it would be the. I gotta look into it, but I don't think he has special insurance for like having a plow. I think
Yeah.
that the city would probably have to cover that,
Yeah.
but like, cause I know like there's two guys
He's
in my
doing work for
neighborhood.
the city. Yeah.
Yeah, I would guess the city would cover it, but there's two guys in my neighborhood that doing work. Oh man, I don't even think the car is registered. You know,
Yeah. Well, when it comes to that, then there's not much you can do, I guess.
yeah, like they're just going around and like those guys. There's one guy who goes around with just the like you said the bobcat thing. It's like a four-wheeler, but it's like strong enough to like kind of not like crazy amounts of snow, but like an inch it can do. And he goes around, he just collects money from like the houses on the block, like if someone's willing to pay him like $100, he'll do the block. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, we get snow maybe 4 to 5 months, I'd say. But yeah, 7 months. Once I'm at 4 months, I'm more like, oh, my back. I can't. I don't want to go out there again. Like,
Oh, dude, it gets like minus 30 degrees Celsius here on the west side with lots of snow.
what
It's
is
brutal.
that in Fahrenheit? Minus 30 Celsius.
40 something? No, 30, 20, 30 degrees. For you guys.
22 minus
20.
22. Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
You can't.
And
You
it
can't
was like
sneeze.
that for a full month
Wow, really? How much
last
do you
year.
pay in heating?
Yeah, it's not cheap. Let's put it that way.
It must be crazy.
It's like double in the winter compared to what it is in the summertime, easily. Easily.
I mean, we've gotten down to like single digits once or twice. Usually we'll get down into like the teens in Fahrenheit. I don't
Yeah.
know, let's see, 15 Fahrenheit, so -9 Celsius.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's
Which is
that's rare.
that's a warm winter day for us, right? It's regularly like minus 15.
Wow. Yeah, for us, I'd say most regulars, like maybe like 23 would go down to. So that's
Yeah.
-5 Celsius. But wow, I can't imagine, man. When it's in
Yeah.
the 20s, I'm just like, I've got like a jacket on, I've got a flannel on, I've got the t-shirt on, I've got a pair of
Oh, we still
jeans,
dress up, believe me.
sweatpants. That's crazy. Your
dress up.
sweat must freeze. Like, You go out to
It does,
shovel,
yeah.
like your shirt must get hard from like the sweat freezing. Like
No, it's not that
no.
extent, but not quite.
I gotta.
But,
what about your breath though? You must breathe, and it must like be a really dense cloud in that
oh
temperature.
yeah. Oh, there's that. Yeah.
I love.
We have extreme cold warnings where you can't be like you can't have your skin exposed to the open air
Oh,
and stuff for more than like 10 minutes.
really? For the
When it gets to
frostbite?
minus 30s, yeah, it's bad.
Wow. So even your nose, then you've got to have like a full face on. Then
Usually,
that's
I mean, I
wild.
usually don't because I don't work outside. I mean, you're only outside 3 minutes at a time or whatever. But
Yeah.
a lot of the times it'll either be a scarf or like the balaclava style thing to keep you a bit warm.
That must be fun though sometimes
Your
to
beard,
dress
your
up.
beard is full of ice and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
Full
used to
ice.
that. Like you go out and you're shoveling, the whole mustache is like
Yeah,
nice and hard. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
white and icy.
yeah. By the time you're done shoveling, you look like some like snow monster. You come back
Yeah.
in and it's just like
Frozen over.
yeah, that's always fun. And my beard, like I let it grow out to get like kind of thick. Like it's starting to get like too thick right now. I'm probably gonna trim it in like a week. Maybe I might do it tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe surprise the
Mine's a,
stream on
mine's
Monday.
a bit long. I usually keep the goatee pretty close to the face.
Mm. Yeah, I
I
got.
did this the other day. I shaved, but
I got. I since it's a full beard for me, like,
yeah,
like it's just
I
too
can't do it.
much to have to trim up, and then you
Too
gotta line it.
itchy on my knees for me.
Yeah, I just do the bottom, the top, boom, nice and easy. But like to reline it, because every time you trim, now you gotta reline the beard, because the beard slowly starts growing down. Like
Yeah.
every time you shave, your beard is definitely further down your neck than it was before. You know,
Yep.
so like right now, and it gets uneven too, because like you naturally when you shave, like I'm right-handed, so the left side usually grows down faster than the right side. You know,
Mhm.
like, but then I trim it, and I'm like, whoa! You get to like when you trim it, you get to see how far the line has gone off over time, and it's like, whoa, that's really changed some there.
Yeah, no doubt.
I was thinking about trying the goatee though. Yeah, I the only reason why I don't. Oh, there's the doggy.
Yeah, I used
What
to
is
try
that?
and
What type
like
of dog is that?
He's a husky.
Oh, so it's like the wolf kind of, right?
Come on. I usually don't let him jump up, so he doesn't want to now.
Yeah,
Come on, come here, come up, say hi. Yeah, right. You don't want to now, is it? You'll jump up if I hold your toy up here. Come on. Oh, come on. I can't see you. Get up. Oh.
Look at that.
Mhm.
See, I've always wanted a
Yes, for
dog,
sure.
man. I've
He's a
always
pest.
wanted one. I'm allergic. I'm
Yeah.
allergic to dogs and cats, sadly.
Oh, you would hate my house then. He's shedding so bad this time of year. It's hot
Really?
times of year. in
I would. See, dogs
August.
though, dogs just make me sneeze and I get itchy throat. But cats, I will die.
Oh, really?
my throat will close up. I will die. Like it takes a little while though. Like it's not like oh, there's a cat there, I'm dead. Like it's like not
Yeah.
like
Well,
peanuts.
I figured
yeah.
that. It was
Yeah,
just
it's like
spontaneously combust when you see cats.
maybe like 3 hours and I'm starting to be in danger zone territory. Like time to get the Benadryl out. You know, like 3 hours.
My house is full of fur right now. He sheds so bad this time of year being a husky.
They get big. My next door neighbor had
He's
2
really
huskies, and they were wildly big. They would
Yeah.
just sit like they. It wasn't really. It was my diagonal neighbor. So like we
Mm.
have like just a grid of people, and my diagonal neighbor, and the fences didn't really meet in that corner spot there. So you'd
Gotcha.
just see a husky face looking at you through the gap. You know. You'd be in the yard, and then all of a sudden you turn because you notice this beautiful blue-eyed monster looking at you through the crack in this like corner fence, And I would always, and it would just be like sit there going, and I'd be like, I really hope you don't lose weight, like. I'd bring
Yeah.
it like dog food, like fatten up, yes, yes, eat the dog food, stay fat. Yeah,
Yeah.
like because
Just throw them treats over the fence. So.
oh yeah, like I would tell a neighbor, like, don't ever put it on a workout regimen. Don't go up to the fields and let it run too much. Like, let it nap as much as possible because it was scary. You know, those
Oh, they can be
things.
very intimidating, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, but so beautiful. Like I mean, the face, and it had these like really like bluer than the blue behind you. The blue eyes it
Yeah.
had, unbelievable, very beautiful. Aren't they related to the snow dogs, right? For like the
Yeah,
sledding.
huskies are usually breeded with for snow dogs. Yeah,
Hmm.
the Alaskan huskies are snow dogs.
That's always wild. They always say that the dogs enjoy that, but I can't imagine that being too fun, depending on the situation.
You mean pulling the sleigh?
Yeah, like
I ride a pedal bike with mine to get him exercise because he
mm,
has so much energy that you have to run
really,
him.
wow,
And he loves pulling me on
really.
oh yeah, man, I have a harness and everything for me
Well,
all over town. I
I
won't even have the pedal.
I guess since they have the capability, like I
Yeah,
can imagine, like if I had muscles, like if I,
they love to
you
run.
know,
Is what it is. They
yeah.
just love to run. And if they have to pull you to run, they will. They just love
I can imagine the strength that even one has though. Like after seeing those
it. Oh,
two, it depends. The other one though had different. It had two different color eyes that would
yep.
be looking through, but it was usually the blue eye one was very keen. I think I looked like a good meal. I don't know. He just did not like me. The other one didn't care. The other one would be looking at me and maybe like bark.
Really calm dogs, man.
Yeah, the other one was really calm. It was the blue eye one. Ooh man, it saw my tuchus and was probably like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get that one day. Gonna bite that, just like
Just
tear
one big
him up."
mouthful.
Yeah, in my neighborhood though, legit though, the diagonal house, still those huskies are there though. They're still alive and kicking. They're still stunning. The
They have
people
one of our
behind me have a dog. The people to the left of me have two dogs. People across the street have two mastiffs.
Yeah, wow, that's a big
Those,
dog.
yeah, those are wonderful to be looking. And they have a balcony, so their balcony is taller than I am. So from across the street, you just see these two elephants standing on a balcony, just
They're cute.
looking at you. They, very stunning, And then like even diagonally across, they have two Shih Tzus. So you get like two Shih Tzus, two Mastiffs living next door to each other. It's like the two different worlds of doggery. Gigantic and tiny. You know, everyone has dogs in this neighborhood. Yeah, like, and then here
I
I
love
am.
them. I'm
I'm
not a
like,
cat person, so.
I'm an island of nothing. Like, well, I have a guinea pig and a turtle. That's all I got. But I
You
love
got a
my guinea pig.
turtle? That's awesome.
Yeah, I got a
What's his
red-eared
what's his name?
slider, a Raffy. It had, I
Daffy?
he's like 22 years old now, so I got him when I was into
Wow.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You
Yeah.
know, I don't really
Yeah.
take pictures of him and stuff. I just let him be.
Yeah, turtles have a huge lifespan.
Oh yeah, he'll probably live longer than I do. I've no doubt. Dude will ask me for food 24/7 too, all
Yeah.
day long. I can walk in the room. It doesn't matter if I just fed him. He's swimming at me. Like, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
you. Give me some food.
Yeah.
You know?
How big is he?
Oh, he's getting big. He's probably almost like looking at my face right now. He's almost the size of my face.
Wow, that's a pretty
Yeah,
big turtle.
yeah. He's 22 years old. He's been going
Well,
for a while. Yeah.
the
I
bigger
gotta
they
get
get.
him. I'm looking into trying to get him something bigger, like tank wise, but it's hard to find. Like most of the pet stores
Yeah.
here will only give you a tank for your new turtle,
Yeah.
and then they wipe their hands of it, and which is why a lot of turtles just get killed, which kind of
You're
sucks.
probably cheaper off buying some glass and cutting it and building a tank,
Yeah.
but
I was thinking
that's
about
not always.
going like acrylic, but then I've been trying to learn about how to put the acrylic together, and it's like a
Yeah.
bonding process. You have to like put in the
Yeah.
stuff to melt the acrylic and then bond it, and if you do it wrong, like you're not gonna
It'll
know it.
break from the water.
Yeah, and you're not gonna see it coming. It's just gonna be one day all of a sudden you hear pop, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like I don't know, but I've been trying to find companies that'll do it. I watched that show Tanked, and they're always doing stuff with acrylic. I tried to look into them, but they don't really they're not making you like a 200-gallon tank. They're making you a 2,000-gallon tank. That's what they're making.
What, a big fancy restaurant or something. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a shame. It's very hard to find a legitimate company. And you
For
think
something like that, especially.
Yeah, and you think of how many people have bought turtles as pets. I mean, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, that turtle's gonna need something bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what do you do with it?
I even had a boa, and he got pretty big. I had to change his tank a couple.
Yeah, and they could do well with like smaller space, but yeah, they need like
They grow to the size of their tank too, right?
Yeah.
More space, then they'll use it.
Mm-hmm. My cousin, he used to keep snakes. He used to work in a pet store, so he had snakes. He had a snapping turtle once. He caught a little sand shark out in the water near here. And he took it home. They were gonna put it in the pool, but because like we had a pool here, so like all of a sudden my mom sees like my brother, my cousin, a few other kids walking with this like sand shark thing, in a tub. Like she could see it like through the clear tub, and they're walking down the block towards the house. She goes right outside. She's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we got a new pet. We were gonna put him in the pool." She's like, "You can't put him in the pool. There's chlorine. Like he can't live in the pool."
Yeah.
Luckily she caught them because we would have had a dead sand shark in the pool.
With that chlorine for sure.
Yeah, crazy. That's wild. Snakes, though. So you had snakes, you had dogs. What other pets did you have?
I've had a tarantula.
Oh gosh, I could not. Wow, I could not.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of spiders. I like spiders.
Yeah, I can see from what people who'll be checking out your Twitch there.
Yeah.
Put up a promo there again. Follow that channel there. Like you'll see in the right there in the channel a nice spoder there.
Yep.
I have a deal with the spiders in my house. I'm like, you can live in the second floor, you can live in the walls, you can live in the basement. The second I see you on my first floor or in any of the rooms I use, it is wartime. Because we got in the basement, we've got a lot. Well, we get brown recluses here in New York, so you get bit by one of those, you're gonna have a melted area in your skin. That's gonna be lovely.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, just a little bit.
How often does that happen though? Do they bite for no reason?
They're kind of aggressive. It depends. Like, yeah, they will try. Like, they'll give it a shot. If they feel
threatened, for sure. Yeah.
If they feel threatened, for sure. But also, if they kind of, it's not that they don't look at you as the food source, but it's like they'll try it out. They'll give it a go, maybe. Like if it's
that's pretty aggressive, man, because most creatures like that will like try to flee first in fear of death themselves, right?
Yeah, I mean normally most of the spiders we have will do that, but yeah, brown recluse, because I was reading up on it because I found one in the basement once, and I was like, that looks different than the normals, because we get like daddy long legs, we get the normal white house spider, we get the jumping spiders and stuff. I have a
all of those.
Yeah, all of those. I have a jumping spider living in the door of my car right now. I do not open up the left back door of my car. Like it makes going food shopping a little bit more annoying, but anytime I open up the door, it's just right there looking at me. I've tried to get like papers and stuff to get it out, but like the thing is, what if it goes in the car? Now I've got a jumping spider in the crack of the car seat. How am I getting it out of there? So I'm kind of just like, it's gonna live there until it lives, until it leaves.
It'll leave.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna need food. How often are flies flying into the door frame of my car? It can't be too often.
Freak out about a spider, and the thing is, it's like most of the spiders, not all of them, obviously, but if you ignore it for a day or an hour, sometimes 10 minutes, if it's just walking along, you'll never see it again after.
Oh yeah, same thing with like millipedes and stuff. But millipedes I kill on sight.
Those I don't like. Those
I hunt them down.
That's creepy as hell. When you get 1,000 legs and a bunch of shit like that. No,
I'm glad that you have a line though. You're cool with spiders, but like you see a mustache crawl across your floor, then it's go time. Like it's so. I saw one the other night because like now is the time of year you start seeing them in New York. you know. And I saw one crawl across the floor the other night while I was sitting down with Nibbles, the guinea pig, and I jumped up. Like, she's eating her hay, living her lovely little fluffy life, eating her hay, and I jumped up instantly, like in a split second, she's in her house. Like, all I heard is, and she's in her house. I'm like chasing after the millipede to catch it before it's like out of sight for now. Because the worst is once it's out of sight, now you're on guard. You know?
Yeah, exactly right.
Now your eyeballs are moving like left and right 20 million times a second because you're like, I'm gonna find you. I'm catching you before you get me. You know, like, you're not jumping out at me again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, that was...
Sure. No, I don't like creepy ass bugs like
that. Was Indiana Jones when
I'm
they're
not
going through
afraid
the
of them.
tunnel. They're gross. They're just like... They don't need to be there. You know?
See, people call spiders creepy too, but I think they're more majestic. I mean...
Yeah? What is it about them? What
the way they move. I mean, like, they're the ninjas of the bug world with their traps and webs and you know. I mean, I find them interesting. I don't know.
Don't they their arms? Don't they move their arms by pushing pressure of blood into the spider legs to move them or whatnot?
I have no idea on that one.
I remember in school reading something like that the way they do their arms is they kind of their heart can like send specific blood to each, you know, arm of the spider, and that's how they move. Because they don't have they're like all exoskeleton when it comes down to like the arms and stuff, and like the body and everything, you know. So it's like little tubes and stuff. That is pretty wild. I mean, I do think that they are pretty amazing, but
I think that I like the survival aspect of them. Like, all their life is about surviving.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I've watched videos of like a scorpion and a spider meet on a log.
Oh wow.
The scorpion grabs the spider's leg and goes to strike at it, and the spider rips its own leg off to jump to the bottom side of the log where the scorpion can't get it.
Wow.
Like, sacrifice your own leg to survive, right? Type of
well,
thing.
I mean, they've got 7 more.
They can survive with 7 legs, right? I mean,
yeah, 3 on one side, 4 on the other.
Bees were really interesting for that too. Did you know that a bee could take a dead bee's limb, like a leg, and just attach it and use it?
What?
Yes.
How are we not?
Bumblebees.
How are we not taking this technology and bringing it into the human world? Like, they must be. If they're not publicly trying it, they're privately trying it. You know, that's happening somewhere.
That's a pretty cool thing to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine. I mean, sadly, it would definitely be used in war. You know.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean,
you imagine a massive amount of car accidents, but then you'd have to grow arms, though. You know, so then we'd have to have some stem cell type of stuff happening to grow arms and legs, you know. But I mean, I think
preserving arms from the deceased.
Yeah, true.
Deceased, right?
That is a really good point. Instead of just donating,
they just pull it off. They just pull it off a dead body and stick it on and go.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Instantly.
Imagine on the back of your driver's license, instead of being like a organ donor, you're an organ limb donor.
Yeah,
you know.
Limb provider.
Yeah, like, wow. Harvest my organs, and also, yes, chop off my arms too, just in case. Put those on ice. You know.
Yeah.
Imagine though, like,
need some arms.
Well, imagine you get into a car accident, right? And you lose your arm in the accident, so they immediately go into the stack of arms, and then you get an arm that's just tattooed up, like, with, like, all these tattoos, you know?
Yeah.
That's what you get from, like, because maybe, like, if you don't have enough money to get, like, the clean arms, you know?
The tattoo arms are discounted?
Yeah, the tattoos. Well, depending what tattoo's on there, you don't know. You might get, like... Yeah, if it's like, you might get like something like from like a famous artist, you know, like, you know,
then it'd be more expensive.
Well, you imagine people would probably put insurance on their tattoos then, you know, if you got it from like, you know, some famous tattooer. The only tattooers I know is like Ami from like, was it Miami Ink or something, and then he came to New York. I actually went by their shop just to look at it. And I was just like, no, they can't be that good. They're TV tattooers, you know? They can't be that good, you know? But, like, yeah, like, imagine that. Like, I've got, like, a $1 million, like, insurance policy on my tattoo. because I'm also an arm donor, and
Yeah.
you could sell that arm for like, some crazy amount. That would be insane.
I think that'd bring on some bad stuff. People would be like fucking skinning people for their
Oh
tattoos.
yeah. Oh yeah. People would have to hide their tattoos in public because you wouldn't want to, because the arm dealers would catch you.
Somebody trying to chop your arm off to take your tattoo.
Yeah, they were just
Take the shitty arm, stupid guy.
there'd be a whole bunch of crimes like this just in. 20 new people in the streets of New York had their arms chopped off for their arms. That would be a news. This would happen, people. This would happen. This is our future when we get the arm and leg, cut and paste technology. You know what, though? Not to get gross, though. Not to try and get gross, but private parts would also be on that list. I'll leave it at that. It's on there now, but I'm just saying, if parts of people's bodies are getting cut and copy pasted onto each other, that's gonna be on the list of things. You're never gonna be able to let anyone know. You're never gonna be able to let someone see it, because what if it is the desirable size? People will pay a pretty penny for that. Oh my goodness. Even Tookuses, wow, that's really round, people gonna be wearing
for the transgenders nowadays. There's lots of that
there would definitely be upsides for someone who's feeling uncomfortable in their skin. If you have thing, I think though it'll be so expensive that it won't be widely used, sadly.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be cheap, man.
Yeah. They'll make it so expensive to do this that your health insurance company, you're going to have really good health insurance company, so you don't have to pay $200,000 to get your arm, But that's why I think there's going to be illegal. Of course, anytime things like this happen, there's going to be the illegal rings doing it. You go to some Joe Schmo doctor, because it's probably not going to be as hard as we think it will be. It's probably going to be... It'll probably eventually be a very standard procedure for, like, trained doctors to do, Just like, they've reattached fingers. So yeah, it's really hard, but, a trained doctor that's been, doing it and has experience, they could just do it, So humans are amazing, so there's gonna be... Yeah, well, that's true, too. Get an opposable arm machine to reoppose your arm on your body. My goodness, that would be crazy. This needs to be a sci-fi movie, The Arm Traders. Why?
I'd watch it.
We need to get Matt Damon in on it for sure, because he's just awesome. Jason Bourne's great. We need Matt Damon. We need Keanu Reeves. John Wick fighting off the arm dealers. We gotta get some Jackie Chan in there. Scarlett Johansson's gotta be in on it for sure. Because Black Widow. Who else? I'm trying to think.
Luring people to get their arms.
Yeah, like this is the team of they're the arm defenders. They put their arms out to stop the arm harm. Like they will defend your legs and your arms. Even your private parts.
Oh, that's nice. But that'd be a good movie with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson. I think she'd be great in it. Who's another? I'm embarrassed to say I'm blanking out on other female action stars right now, but I know there are more. Golly, racking the brain. The actress that was in Thor Ragnarok was pretty great. She did good in her fighting scenes,
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'd be thinking the chick from Fast and the Furious, the one who was dating the Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
She would make a good action chick, I would think.
Oh, fudge. I'm so sorry, ladies watching. I'm so sorry. I think my brain is purposely brain farting right now, too, for the fact that, like, I'm sure there is some girls watching right now, and I'm going to be sitting here brain farting on her name. Even though I can Google it, but I want to remember, like...
Yeah, Google this.
Gal Gadot. I got it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gal Gadot. She's amazing, though. She is really amazing. She's definitely a great Wonder Woman for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and she was in the military too. I mean, she is Israeli, so she was in the military back in the day. You know, just like Ethan Klein's wife was technically in the military. You know, and not technically she was, but you know, she says she worked an office job, but I mean, she had to see some stuff. She never really talks about it, and I'm always kind of curious. Like, well, I mean, there's training that can't be fun. You know, you have to know discipline, and also, I mean, she mentioned only like once or twice about like the time when she went out with some like colonel or something, and she was like actually out and like they were attacked and stuff, but she only talks about it quickly, which I understand. Like, she probably doesn't want to talk about it. It's probably bad memories, you know. But I think that she, you know, in a way, I think it would help. There's not enough females talking about, you know, their experiences and that stuff. You know, like a good friend of mine, she's a Marine. Not trying to make up for the fact of forgetting, you know, other female actresses. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. I can't believe that though. How do I forget Gal Gadot's name? That's like almost naming her Adele Dazeem, like John Travolta at the the Oscars or something, you know. And the winner is
I screwed up that question.
Instead of Idina Menzel. Oh, that was so funny though. Adele Dazeem and Idina Menzel, like not even close. Like, how do you
even try?
It's not even a hard. His name is John Travolta. He's an Italian American. I'm an American Italian. Like, you know, it's like how your name is Travolta. You just sound it out, right? Idina Menzel. What's so hard about that? He's a New Yorker. He's never seen names like that before. You know, like, I'm like, oh my God. Freaking John Travolta. How'd you mess it up, man? You're making us New Yorkers look bad. Making us look bad.
Is that where he's from? Is New York? I didn't realize.
I think he was born in Jersey. Let me see. John Travolta. I'm in the wrong window. I'm typing in the Twitch chat there. John Travolta.
Maybe John Travolta has a Twitch channel we should be following.
If he's not born in New York, I'm gonna be surprised. Englewood, New Jersey. Yeah. Same thing, kind of the same. Most New Jersey people will say they're New Yorkers, even though no, you're not. Just say, no, you're not. He's currently living in Los Angeles, though. Englewood, New Jersey, in 1954. Wow. Golly, I mean, he had to have moved to New York at some point. You don't, you know, not talk down about New Jersey, but you become an actor, you become famous. You're not staying in New Jersey unless you're Kevin Smith. And even he moved to California eventually. I think even right now he's living in California. Earthquakes. I can't. No.
Kevin Smith, that's Silent Bob, right?
Yeah, Silent Bob. He grew up in Jersey. His comic book shop's still there.
Oh, nice.
He took all the comics he had and he started up a comic book shop way back in the day. And now it's, you know, it's got its own stuff, but like, yeah, it's a pretty cool shop. I've been outside. I've looked in. But we were on our way to Philly that time, so we were more into getting cheesesteaks than it was to check a shop, you know, that Kevin Smith owned. You know, we took a little detour there, you know, because it's only like, I think what was it? I think it's only like 50 minutes away from me. It's not that far, like, even though it's in New Jersey and I'm in Brooklyn, you know, it's not a crazy distance to get to Jersey. Usually we have like Staten Island and New Jersey are like, sadly, I don't say this, but it has been called this. I have been a party to people calling Staten Island and New Jersey the places to get to the places for New Yorkers. You know, you go to Jersey to get to like Pennsylvania. You go to Jersey to get to Atlantic City, because we don't count Atlantic City as being a part of Jersey. It's Atlantic City. It's a place you go to gamble. It's like the Northeast is like Las Vegas is Atlantic City, you know. So, and then Staten Island is the island that Brooklyners have to go to get to Jersey to get to the places we want to go to. That's
a lot of getting to.
Yeah, like you have to get like you either have to go through Staten Island to Jersey to get to like upstate New York or Pennsylvania, or you have to go to Manhattan to Jersey to get to these places. You know,
I've always thought that would be crazy, like Manhattan Island. How busy is that place?
It's kind of sucks to drive in. It kind of sucks to walk in. It kind of sucks to buy anything, and it just kind of sucks.
So everything's expensive, and it's just
It's a
busy,
beautiful.
consumer-based.
It's a beautiful place to visit. If you
Okay.
want to visit, like if you're like, you've seen New York in all the movies, you've heard the songs, New York State of Mind or whatnot. You've heard all the
Yeah.
lore and everything. It is a beautiful city. It has some of the most beautiful places you can see, and it's not just a place that you see; it's a place that you experience. You get to experience. Hey, what's up? You get to experience New Yorkers for New Yorkers. Like if you want to experience a New Yorker, you go to Manhattan. You'll get to see all the types of New Yorkers in all their glory and get out of their way as fast as you possibly can. Like that's all you got to do to fit in with New York. Just don't get in a New Yorker's way. That's the only time we get mad. If in a car or walking or on a bike or on a train or getting
Yeah.
to the train or leaving the train or
Get the
trying
hell
to
out of my way.
yeah, just get out of the way. We're just trying to get places. Like the worst is like we try not to go to like Times Square stuff just because just walking around Times Square does not follow any of the New
People in the way.
Yorker. Yeah, it's just people looking up. You know, you get off like the Q train or the D train at Times Square station. You get off of the station. You get to the exit door, and it's just people looking up. Just like, why? Why are they doing this? It's buildings. You will see it. They're everywhere here. But why? Why must we be doing this? Get out of the way.
It's so
Like,
tall.
yeah, I know. It's just like get out of the way. Like oh, it's bringing me flashbacks. It's really I'm getting shook right now. It's like I need to get from 42nd Street to 54th Street and 2 avenues over to freaking 6th Ave. Get out of my way. Look at the buildings from the middle of the street so a taxi can say how you doing. How about that? Like you'll see. Just look forward. When you're in Manhattan, you look forward, and it's nothing but buildings. There's actually Neil deGrasse Tyson. There's a perfect time of the year for I think it's 4th Ave in Manhattan. You can see all of the avenue, and just at the end is the sun, perfectly between all the buildings.
That's
And it's only at like one point in the year, and like it's like this thing is so stunning. But like it shows you what New York is. Like you don't need to look up, just look forward. You'll see all the buildings because you're just looking down a line of freaking buildings. So it just annoys for New Yorkers. It's like this is not logical. We need to. Where are you going? You're not going up. You're going
There's
forward.
no elevator around here.
Yeah, you're not going up right now. So why are you looking there? Look forward. Like
Look in your direction, people.
Yeah.
Just look in your direction.
that's New Yorkers summed up, everybody. But yeah, no, Washington Square Park is stunning. You can go to Cat's Deli to see When Harry Met
I've
Sally.
never visited the States. I've always wanted to visit the States, and I never have a chance.
It'd be worth it if you visit New York. It's expensive though. You're not gonna.
Well,
for
New York would be one of the places I wanted to see because is so many sites and it's so iconic a city from the movies and everything, right?
Yeah.
Statue of Liberty and all that.
Not, I wouldn't come for the Statue of Liberty. No, no one get mad, please. It's just, it's so tiny. You think it's gigantic? It is when it's next to New York. It's tiny. It looks like it's very underwhelming, but it's it's an amazing thing to see. I mean, it's what my relatives passed by when they came, from Italy. It's what millions of people have seen. It was the sign of hope. It was all of this freedom and everything. So it's a stunning thing to see. But ever since I was a kid, like I remember like seeing it in like Ghostbusters too. Like I didn't see it in person first. Like I saw it in Ghostbusters.
Movies,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's in a lot of movies.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's seen that song like "Your love keeps lifting me higher."
Any movie that's based in New York, see that for sure.
Yeah, they threw that, and the Brooklyn Bridge is always getting blown up some reason. And I'm like, I'm a Brooklynite. They don't like that bridge. I'm like, hit the Verrazano at least once. Let's hit the, Why has it got to be the Brooklyn Bridge? That bridge though, that bridge sucks. So not.
It's the one everybody knows, right?
It's stunning, but to drive on the Brooklyn Bridge, there's parts where you see through to the water.
Yikes.
While you're driving. It is a rough bridge. That bridge needs some love. Yeah. When you see it in movies and it's got this perfect street on it, I'm like, no, that's like the quarter of the bridge used for filming.
Yeah.
that's
they
like
fixed that part for this movie.
Yeah, that's that part of the bridge. We all know that part of the bridge, the New Yorkers. We love that part of the bridge. But then you pass that part of the bridge and you're on the Brooklyn side of the bridge. They don't use that's not the side that they use the camera angle for,
Yeah.
like it's like, so that part of the bridge is the rough side. That's when you see in the water, you drive and you're just like, was that a hole? I think that was a hole. I saw green because our water's not blue. Our water's green from just New York.
Well, it would be anyway sometimes.
Well, a
probably.
lot of sediment. There's
Yeah,
a lot of sediment, but also New York.
Yeah.
But
A lot of pollution.
oh yeah, it's a lot better. Giuliani did do a lot of work to clean up New York. Not just getting rid of all the strip clubs in Times Square, but he cleaned it up a lot. He did an okay job. And then Bloomberg kept it up. He wanted to become more touristy, so Bloomberg made a lot of Brooklyn tourist spots like Coney Island. You don't have to worry about having a hypodermic needle stab you in the foot in the sand anymore in Coney Island. Good. Yeah, that was lovely. I remember being a kid and you'd see a nice little needle over there in the sand in Coney Island. That was always fun. Come to Coney Island, catch hepatitis. Get
your shots before you come, kids.
Yeah, and he also closed up underneath the boardwalk in Coney Island. You used to be able to go under there when I was a kid, and there was just very, like the movie The Warriors, like those people were hanging out underneath the docks, underneath the boardwalk. And that was fun. You would not be leaving there with your money or whatnot, but as kids, our parents, you'd run away from your parents to hang out for a little while, and they'd maybe take their eye off of you, and you dare your friend, I dare you to run under there for 5 seconds. So your friend would go run under there, not really go in, but kind of go in for 5 seconds and then come out I did it, and everyone would run away. He'd start running in, you're already running away, because you're not stupid. You're not a party to the happening when he gets murdered by the It monster from the movie, But yeah, no, it's a nice place. I'd love to go to Canada, to be honest with you. My brother's gone.
We have a lot of great scenery for sure.
Yeah, because I've seen we have somewhat of a similar ecosystem in the Northeast with upstate New York, but it's very stunning. I'd love to go maybe to a lake or something and get a cabin, nice and peaceful. Living in a city.
Yeah, we have a lot of that actually, but we're very spread out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not as big a population with a bigger landmass. It's
yeah.
You got to drive for hours sometimes to get to see anything. So there's that.
I would love that, man. That's not to live in forever though.
Yeah. It is like that.
I would love that for a visit.
A lot of great sceneries, for sure.
Yeah, I love it when the seasons are changing and the trees are changing color.
Fall is really nice with the orange and reds.
Yeah, it's people that haven't seen something like that in person. South Park made fun of New York for the people that come for the changing of the trees and stuff. You go to upstate New York, you get to see just it's like a Bob Ross painting, just
colors. Yeah. It is really pretty though. I used to live beside a river valley, and it was really deep river valley, and the river was low in the mountainside or in the hillside, right?
Yeah.
But the whole hillside in the fall is orange and greens and reds and whatever color, just bright and vibrant. It looks really nice.
Man, I'd love to go there one day. My brother though, he said the food though. He tried poutine. I haven't had poutine yet, and he was he's like, it is life changing. He's like, I will go there just for that even.
I'll be right back here in a sec.
Well, actually, I was just about to say we should probably call it a night here just because we're at 3 hours, 35 minutes. Right now, officially the longest podcast I've done, I believe.
That's because we're exciting.
I think we just beat out Bearded there with the time frame. We've gone on a journey, man. We've gone from cars to bikes to to pipelines and games. There were games in here, y'all. If you missed it,
there were. Yeah.
It's been a great chat though. Everyone check him out, xDargosx. Anything you'd want to tell people? When do you stream? What's the schedule looking like for your channel?
My usual schedule, I'm trying to do Mondays and Wednesday, Thursday evenings, and Saturday mornings.
Mm-hmm.
I had one this morning before this podcast and everything.
Yeah. Well, you were playing what, Darkest Dungeon right now?
Yeah, I'm playing some Darkest Dungeon right now. Actually, this morning I did Darkest Dungeon because it's morning and I'm lazy and it was chill. I don't have not so much stress as the whole League of Legends thing, but
yeah,
I'm doing that one right now and some League of Legends, and I may get back into some Final Fantasy VII again just for
after seeing it
a calm stream. Well, I'm still new to streaming, right? So I'm trying to not pick such high. Demanding high attention games so I can respond more to audience and everything and get better with that. Talking myself through stuff before I start getting into League where it's a lot of concentration involved to not feed and lose for my team.
Yeah, true. It takes some getting used to reading the chat and also focusing on the game so you can't start from there. But all right, go take the dog out. Thank you, man, so much for hanging out with me today. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Stop by his channel. Links in the channel there. I'm going to link it again. Why not? Everybody, you have a good night. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.